This is a production of SDPB.
Touchdown! This is for a state championship. Oh, drug kick, and it's good!
There's going to be some highlights coming off of this.
The short-range jumper.
Edging out in lane 4, the top seed.
This South Dakota High School State Championship event is conducted under the direction of the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back inside the Watertown Civic Arena. Along with Nate Kading, I'm Steve Toom, getting you ready for the first night of action here at the Class A Girls Basketball Tournament. 2 games in the books already today. 2 more yet to go in our opening round quarterfinal action here. And we had a couple of interesting games this afternoon, Nate. The first one was a close game all the way until really the last minute of the contest.
Yeah, no question. Back and forth game, and Hamlin kind of took control over Lakota Tech in that second half, and Addison Neuendorf and Adeline Jensen were really key in their 9-point victory in that first
contest of the day, and that was a Lakota Tech team that was leading at 2 points at the half, but Hamlin's defense the difference in the second half. The number 1 seed advances, and then it was Lennox with a stifling defense of their own, shutting down Sioux Valley 42-28 in the second contest. The Sioux Valley offense just never really got rolling.
And you got to give a lot of credit to the Lennox Orioles, and like you said, what they were able to get done defensively with their press in the half court. They got a special group of athletes right there, and that Hamlin-Lennox game tomorrow night on semifinal Friday evening is going to be a special one.
You bet. Let's look at what we've got coming up tonight. Unbeaten Machpealuta takes on West Central. That's our first matchup later on tonight. Wagner takes on the defending champions, Sioux Falls Christian. Let's look at the teams that are going to be in our first matchup of the night. The West Central Trojans, their first appearance since 2022 at the state tournament. They were 3rd back then. They were runner-up in 2019, 2008, and 1999. They won the championships. Joe Caffrey is their head coach, and this team 18-4 on the season. They beat Tri-Valley in the regions to advance to the Sodak 16. Had a tough time with Mobridge Pollock, but eventually prevailed 54-42 in that contest. And they have a balanced attack. Casey Jaton leads the way with 18 points, but they've got a lot of contributors right around that 7, 8, 9-point mark. It's a dangerous team.
No question, Steve. They're led obviously by one of the best sophomores in the state in Casey Jaton, but they have a number of other athletes. You can see a couple seniors sprinkled in that are seasoned veterans, freshmen and Ellie Knight, and then they actually got both these groups here tonight actually got transfers in. Mackenzie Skonhovey from Oklahoma has been a huge pickup for them, and then on the other side we'll talk about Shania Ferguson.
Abby Thornton heading off to Dakota State to play soccer, as she is one of the senior starters along with Kramer, Skonvold, and Ellie Knight. Machpealuta, last year they were runner-up. They lost on a buzzer beater out in Spearfish to Sioux Falls Christian, and they have run the table this year. Matt Rama, the head coach, and this is a special group at 21-0. They score nearly 70 points per game, and really they have only had really 2 close games all year. They have won by wide margins of victory.
Had a contest versus that Lennox team that was a 10.1, Steve, and Lakota Tech 14, and then all the other ones have just been, you can tell it's a determined group after what happened in March out in Spearfish last year. They've just been on a mission.
Yep, they beat St. Francis Indian and McCook Central Montos, Maya Mills, Ashlyn Carlo Blunt, Dorothy Mesteth, Shania Ferguson, Peyton Knife, the starters. Ashlyn Carlo Blunt, we'll call her name a lot. She is heading to USD to play basketball next year.
An absolute versatile player that does everything for them. 17 points a game, 8 rebounds, close to 6 assists. You don't see many athletes that move like her, but also with the skill set and overall court sense, a special player to watch.
And Machpelah Luta, they have some good reserves that will come off that bench as well. We're just moments away from the pregame ceremonies and the national anthem. Let's turn it over to Ryan Neal. He is our public address announcer for this tournament.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me, I missed the wrong one. Good evening. The South Dakota High School Activities Association, along with its corporate partners, Sanford Health, Dakota Bank, Farmers Union Insurance, Billion Automotive, and the South Dakota Army National Guard, welcome you to this opening session of the State A Girls High School Basketball Tournament. This tournament is being conducted under the guidance and regulation of the South Dakota High School Activities Association for the enjoyment and benefit of high school students. Good sportsmanship is essential for the success of these programs. We hope you will enjoy the games and support your athletes in a positive and sportsmanlike manner. At this time, will you please stand as we honor America? We are proud to present the Machpelah Luta immersion students. They will sing the Lakota flag song, which is a musical composition dedicated to honoring the American flag. Following the completion of the Lakota flag song, please remain standing for the national anthem. The national anthem will be performed by the Millbank Prep Band under the direction of Susan Carls. We would like to remind all in attendance that the proper respect is to face the flag, remove your hat or cap, and stand at attention with your right hand over your heart. Veterans and active duty military not in uniform may also salute the flag. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lakota flag song followed by the national anthem. And now let's meet the cheerleaders for both teams, starting with the West Central Trojans. Michaela Bernal, Lily Larson, Jaylyn Shumlum, Charlie Schrader, Amelia Unzelman. Cheer coach is Ashley Payne. Now the cheerleaders for Macapia, Harley Carlo, Taylin Charging Crow, Tashay Hernandez, Haley Hughes, Alice Poyer, Hayden Poyer, Talia Trueblood, Brooklyn Twist. Cheer coach is Keneva Murdoch. And now, let's meet tonight's starting lineups in alternating fashion. At one guard for West Central, 5'8" and a freshman, number 1, Ellie Nye. At a guard for Macapia, 5'11" and a senior, number 0, Maya Mills. At a guard for West Central, 5'8" and a junior, number 5, Mackenzie Scovey. At guard for Macapia, 6 foot and a senior, number 1, Ashlyn Blood. At forward for West Central, 5'10" and a sophomore, number 10, Casey Jatar. At a guard for Macapia, 5'7" and a senior, number 5, Dorothy Mister. At a guard for West Central, 5'8" and a senior, number 14, Ayla Kramer. At a guard for Macapia, 5'7" and a senior, number 15, Shannon Ferguson. At a forward for West Central, 5'8" and a senior, number 23, Abby Thronton. At a forward for Macapia, 5'10" and a sophomore, number 24, Peyton Nye. Assistant coaches for the Trojans, Jamie Jenkins and Tony Lanham. Assistant coaches for Macapia, Amanda Carlo, Tara Garnier, Danny Luvo. Head coach of the Trojans, Joe Caffrey, and head coach of Macapia, Mr. Matt Raymond. Brian Gaikowski, Matthew Berger, and Andrew Lepowski are your officials for tonight's contest. Today's lineup.
All righty, we are ready for our third game of the day. Quarterfinal action, Macapia Luta and West Central Trojans in the dark uniforms with the white numbers and letters. The white uniforms for Macapia Luta. Carlo Blunt and Thornton in the center circle, and here we go, and it will be Carlo Blunt handling the ball. And a man for the Trojans right out of the gate. Talked with some of the West Central people earlier. They said key to the game, not commit so many turnovers, play tough defense, and we're gonna have a foul right away on the Trojans.
And there you see the versatility of Carlo Blunt, running her into the post. And Ellie Knight did get the assignment, the freshman for West Central there. Just a little too much contact in the post.
These teams did not meet during the regular season.
And you mentioned it here early, Steve, the Trojans' ability to handle this pressure, because after this made free throw, it's going to be on you.
Yeah, Mockpia-Luta likes to run that full court press as Carlo Blunt will. Well, we got a little piece of debris on the court. And the referee will clean it up. So the free throw does count. Carlo Blunt, 76% free throw shooter on the year.
You can see this 2-2-1 half court. Start off a little softer, and then they fly around and look for those trapping opportunities.
Yep. Anytime you get near an out-of-bounds line, you'll see the double team. Drive along the baseline, shut off there by Carlo Blunt. Pass into the paint, slapped away, stolen by Mockpia-Luta. Carlo Blunt on the move. The drive off the window, good. She's got 4 right away.
And you see her ability there to hang in the air. Takes the bump and the finish.
Here comes the press. And they've got 1 second. They do not get it over the timeline. And that's what that pressure will do. Something else about Mockpia-Luta, they average 22.5 steals per game as a team. That is an unreal number.
Yeah, their conditioning level, super active, and you mentioned that they can go into their bench too and rely on them when you play a style like they do.
They can, almost a travel is a travel. Now the thing about Mockpia-Luta is that they can just run, and they just wear out other teams.
Yeah, and when you're attacking this right now, you cannot run away from the basketball. You got to look for those soft spots in the zone.
Drive shot no good by Jaton, and here comes Carlo Blunt the other way. The drive, the lefty layup, good.
And you see her ability in transition, 2 transition attacks, 2 impressive finishes there. Had a little right-left Euro step.
Drive shut off there by Kramer. She was driving, pass underneath, shot no good. Thornton throws it outside. Fake the 3. Here's the 3. Kramer, no good. And the rebound comes down to Ferguson. Pass up ahead. Lefty layup too strong. Tapped out of bounds. It'll stay with the team in white.
A little bit fortunate there, right there. Mesteth had a quality look in transition, and this Mockpia-Luta team they play fast, just like a lot of the ones that we've seen here at this State A Thursday quarterfinal action.
There's a block, but the pass tipped away. He's getting the ball was Skonhov, but she lost the ball. Carlo Blunt, the stutter step. Oh, what a move, and scores! You can see why University of South Dakota was recruiting her.
Had the little hesitation in and out, and she's putting her, threaded the needle there, and the Trojans badly needed that one to Abby Thornton for the easy deuce.
8-2, and here's a 3 on the way. It's going to miss everything and go out of bounds. It'll go to the Trojans. Yeah, Mockpia-Luta, their 5th gear seems faster than everybody else's 5th gear.
Yeah, and the key is you gotta beat the pressure initially, but then you gotta be able to look to attack but make quality decisions. Even when they advance that was a perfect illustration of it. Got it to Thornton, but then their players are gonna be recovering back. You gotta see all the bodies.
27 on the shot clock. Trojans played in with Knight. Looking inside. And they finally throw it to the perimeter. Ooh, near steal there, a little contact. The drive, ball lost. Drive, and we're gonna have a blocking foul on Mockpia-Luta. Trojans will get some free throws here. And that one looked like it was on Peyton Knife, and it is her first. Team's first. Skonhovd at the line on the year, 55% for the junior, makes the first of 2. She averages 7.5 points, 3.5 rebounds per game.
And there's going to be some driving gaps when you're able to move the basketball, and they just have such good activity there.
Top of the key, Ferguson with it, the drive, got out of control, and Peyton Knife fighting for the rebound. And I think we're going to have a jump ball we will. It will go to the Trojans. But first, a timeout on the court. 4:59 left, first quarter. It is 8-4, Machpelah-Luta on top. Back in a moment on SDPB.
You kept us fed through tough times. And despite rising business costs, you keep doing what you love because you know you're making a difference. No matter the challenges, we're here to help you navigate the highs and lows to grow your business, to improve your land, or to buy new equipment. We all rely on you, and we're just happy to return the favor. Go with Allies. Go with trust. Go with Dakota Bank.
We're back here in Watertown for the Class A girls basketball tournament. Along with Nate Kading, I'm Steve Toom. Machpelah-Luta up by a score of 8-4. They're applying the pressure again. West Central gets it across the timeline, but they're in trouble. They get it away to Ellie Knight.
Yeah, and you really got to have composure when you do get yourself into a bad situation, and then teammates got to be there for you. Shorten up passes.
Jatan thought about it, throws it over to Knight. She'll throw it. Oh, but we're going to have a blocking foul along the baseline near steal. Machpelah-Luta looking to run, but the foul will shut things down.
When you do get advantage opportunities for the Trojans, it's one of those deals that you got to be aggressive. You got to take them, because sometimes the more passes, the more possession that you're going to hold it, the more it's going to turn into a turnover.
Jaden Standing Bear got the foul, and we got another foul in the paint. 2 free throws coming up for the Trojans.
That was a nice off-ball cut there. You can see them hitting Abby Thornton and then Ellie Knight. And that's where, against pressure, against the zone, you got to use your dribble efficiently. You don't want to over dribble. You want to be able to pass it to certain spots and use those cuts as much as you can.
Free throw no good by Knight, 60% on the year. That foul was on Josephine Haas, the freshman who had just checked in for Machpelah-Luta. Also in the game, number 12, Layla Janice. Freshman missed that one. And that rebound comes down to Standing Soldier. Carlo Blunt on the drive, throws it up, bounces off the rim, and Knight pulls away the rebound. Long pass up ahead. It's collected by Jatan. Can't get a shot off. Gives away to Knight. Now that's Bailey Stallman in the game, number 2, momentarily handling it. Gets it, can't fire the shot.
You can see this Machpelah-Luta defense. They just anticipate and they rotate when they get you into a tough spot, and we're going to have another shot clock situation.
Guess not, as we've got a steal. Carlo Blunt on the move, and it goes. And she's got 10 points already. And a timeout called by Joe Caffrey of West Central as his team is down 10-4 here early on. And watch the just slight hesitation. The defender slides by, and Ashlyn Carlo Blunt with 10 points early on. In fact, she's got all the points so far for Machpelah-Luta.
Mini transition attacks, and that's what they do. And on the other side, you play a team like this, you want to try to force them to score in the half court as much as you possibly can, but it's not happening here so far. About halfway through this first.
Yeah, we see the formula for Machpelah-Luta. Tough defense, pressure, forcing turnovers, getting transition buckets, and that's why they've won so many lopsided games this year. They also have a deep bench, and we're seeing some of these reserve players come in here and getting hands-on ball and playing tough defense.
Yeah, and Casey Dutton for the Trojans, averaging over 18 a game coming in. You feel like she just needs to be aggressive, and here you can see her.
And we're going to have a foul on Makpia Luta. And I think they're going to tag Haas again. They do, her second. That's the 4th team foul on Makpia Luta. And they're going to get a sub to the bench. And Maya Mills will check back into the contest, replacing Haas.
Yeah, and they stick with this 2-3 alignment, and here they find Jatan. It's a little shy.
Missed it, tip to the outside. Who's going to control it? Carlo Blunt. Numbers for Makpia Luta. Euro step, yes. Oh my.
Carlo Blunt, 12, West Central 4.
Players colliding at half court. Jatan had a good look, missed it. Players hitting the deck left and right. And we're going to have a jump ball. Possession arrow, West Central. Under 3 minutes to go, 12-4. It's been a one-woman show so far, and as far as scoring goes. Watch this, stop and go.
The heady 2-foot jump shot, or jump stop, excuse me, show the basketball, step through. She's provided a footwork clinic here early on. We've seen Euro steps, we've seen up and under step throughs, crossover moves. You're seeing the skill level from Carlo Blunt.
So it's not a jump ball, and the ball goes to Makpia, or actually it was. I think the possession arrow was wrong, and we're going to have a foul on West Central.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be Ellie Knight's
It is.
second foul.
Yep. She has 2, both of the team fouls for West Central. They'll throw it in, but it's intercepted by Skonhold. Carlo Blunt slow to get up. Numbers for West Central. And they stepped on the baseline, or was it traveling? Either way. And Carlo Blunt limping noticeably, and that is not a good sign, and she is going to check out. Fortunately for her, her team has a big lead, and they have a deep bench. But she is going to go down to the end of the bench and talk to the trainer. Might have twisted an ankle. Hope she's okay there, working on the ankle. As we get back to action.
Trojans drop back into a 2-3 zone right there, showing a bit of a defensive adjustment.
Ball out of bounds, but off West Central. 25 on the shot clock. In to go Standing Soldier. She was fouled from behind. And let's see who that foul is going to be on for West Central. That will be on Kaylee Schultz, the 5'8" sophomore. She averages 3 points a game.
Yeah, and you can see Standing Soldier. West Central does not have a true big. They play pretty much 5 guards and have some good versatility. And so Makpia Luta has looked inside a couple different times.
Yeah, Standing Soldier at 6'2", a junior, but she scores 7.5 points per game. So she does give him that post presence coming off the bench. Good ball movement by Makpia Luta, and there's the shot. Mills, short, long rebound collected by Janice. Passes on the 3, Mesteth, back to Janice. Skip pass, down low, Standing Soldier, too strong off the window. Put back up, no good. Rebound finally down to Kramer on the miss by Zephyr, who almost got the bucket there.
Yeah, you really got to shorten your passes against this defense. And there, Kaylee Schultz has the nice drive. I think they're going to send her to the foul line.
The foul is going to be on. I think it's going to be on Jaden Standing Soldier. It is her second. And Schultz to the line on the air, 33% for the 5'8" sophomore, 3 points, 2 rebounds per game.
Yeah, these are the ones when you're able to get yourself to the foul line against a team like Makpia Luta and how good they are defensively. You got to capitalize on the easy ones. And so far, the Trojans have left a few points on the board. 2 point-blank layups right at the rim, and then also missing some free throws.
Tapped out of bounds. It's going to go to the team in white.
West Central right now only 1 of 8 from the floor. 12.5%. On the other side, Montpelier 5 of 15, 33%.
Carlo Blunt back into the game, handles the rock. Pass tipped away by Chaton. Loose on the floor, and I think we're going to have a jump ball. We will.
And the West Central Trojans showing their own version of an aggressive 2-3 alignment zone, but stretching it out and anticipating some passing lanes.
And here comes a trap. Cross to Schultz. Running hard towards the bucket. Shot, no good, foul. So Schultz making some things happen coming off the bench. The foul's starting to rack up on Montpelier.
And they smartly get a quick reversal right when they're coming into contact with that pressure. Quick reversal, and then they're looking to race it up the sideline. And
Peyton Knife with the foul, her first, as the free throw's good by Schultz. She's into the scoring column. Second one in the air, in and out. Oh, we got a good fight for the rebound and a jump ball. Good play there by Ella Harden, the 5'10 freshman who just checked into the game. Possession arrow favors Montpelier.
And we've had a little dry spell offensively for Montpelier.
And they're going to throw the ball away. A miscommunication. Turnover. Trojans get the advantage here. Let's see if they can capitalize. With 1:04 left to go in the quarter, they're down by 7, and here comes that press. Harden gets the ball outside to Chaton. Yet to score, and now she does.
Casey Chaton shows that physicality from the guard spot there. Able to take that contact right into the finish.
Carlo Blunt misses. The rebound to Thornton. Thornton gets it back on the move. Oh, she's going to get called for travel.
That's where you needed to move the basketballs. Good ball movement. They put 2 on Chaton, right back to her. Kicked it to Casey, who ended up finishing the 3. Just happened to be after that travel call.
Let's see if Montpelier will hold for the final shot. We thought about the 3. Carlo Blunt, kick it back out. Shot clock and game clock nearly identical, and Ferguson's going to fire a 3. It's off the mark. Chaton tracks it down. Shot clock off with 12 seconds left. Chaton will give it up. Schultz with the ball. 5 seconds left. Passing it into the paint. Chaton turns around, fires a wild shot. No good. We're done with 1 period of play. 12-7. Montpelier on top of West Central. Back with the second quarter in 1 minute. You're watching SDPB 3.
Peterson Farm Seed Reps, real-life seed heroes, well, they've been known to go the extra mile, literally thousands of extra miles every year. And when they're not driving gravel roads, they're out walking fields and sampling soil. When time is the enemy, they're there to save what's left of the day. Are all Peterson Farm Seed Reps seed heroes? I guess that's a yes. Peterson Farm Seed, we're that kind of seed company.
South Dakota, a state shaped by its people. It's more than a place, it's opportunity waiting to be realized. At South Dakota State University, opportunity is turned into progress. Through research, education, and a community that inspires, SDSU drives the future of this state. We're not just here, we're taking action with purpose, trust, and impact. This is SD State.
Back to action here. West Central starts the second period with the basketball. While we're Nate Kading, I'm Steve Toom. Pressure applied by Mockpia Luta, and it was Schultz stumbling out of bounds. Turnover Trojans. That's the kind of error you cannot make, Nate, against this Mockpia Luta team.
Yeah, and that's their 7th turnover here in the game. And yeah, you mentioned that Mockpia Luta averages right around 22, 23 steals a game. And you're going to keep this thing close. You got to force them to execute in the half court, try to slow them down as much as you are able.
And we're going to have a rebounding foul on Mockpia Luta. I think they got Mills. They did. Her first. Mills,
oh, sorry, Steve.
Yeah, Maya Mills, a 5'11 senior, averages 8.5 points, 2.5 rebounds per game.
In Mockpia Luta, they really change the level that they pick up the basketball. Sometimes they extend out 3/4 court, sometimes they start half and then come to get you.
There's Harden, a couple of dribbles to Thornton. Jeton spins, no. Tries to get her own rebound, does so. Fires up a shot, no. Rebound pulled down by Carlo Blunt. Quickly out of the pack, on the run, scoops it up, no. And we're gonna have a jump ball on the other end. Possession arrow favors Mockpia Luta.
And you just saw one of the many reasons why Carlo Blunt is such a special player. She rebounds at a high clip, but then she's able to go in transition. Here they lose Ferguson in the corner.
That's off Mesteth, out of bounds. It'll go to the Trojans. Yeah, Ferguson averages 14.5 points a game. She's a senior and a 31% shooter from beyond the arc. She was wide open in the corner, but missed everything.
And still, Mockpia Luta, only one person in the scoring column, and that's Carlo Blunt.
Over and back, turnover. Yeah, it's Ashlyn Carlo Blunt has all the points so far. Meanwhile, 2 each for Skonhovd, Jeton, Thornton, 1 for Schultz. Carlo Blunt was fouled as she approached the bucket. Not in the act of shooting. And I think they're going to catch Schultz. That is her 2nd foul.
Yeah, and we're still working for Mockpia Luta. 0 of 7 from 3, and here's another one. 0 of 8, and West Central 0 of 4 from 3.
Another one on the way, and that one will fall for Maya Mills.
And Mills is more than capable out there. 39 made threes coming into the tournament at 36%.
Thornton just muscled her way to the bucket for her 4th point. And quickly, here comes the team in white down on the other end of the court. Mesteth fires, high arcing 3, short, rebound. Slapped away, Mesteth took it away from Schultz. Gets it back. And now check that was Ferguson who got the steal. And now here's Jeton with the steal and the breakout play, and she gets the lefty layup.
It's great feel and anticipation there by Casey Jeton, and those are great easy baskets like that can go a long ways for the Trojans.
Carlo Blunt misses the 3, and the rebound pulled down by Kramer. She'll get the ball back. Harden down the lane, wild shot will go, oh my, Ella Harden. Circus shot there.
I don't even think she was looking at the rim right there. They found her in the high post as Mills tries to answer.
And the rebound pulled down by Mockpia Luta. I think that was Knife, and she was fouled. Watch this play. Whoa.
Oh, I take that back. Ella Harden had her eyes on the rim the entire time. That's what you like to see. Chin up on that rim, eyes on your target. And they've done a nice job of getting that basketball right into the soft spot, right into the high post. And whether that's reversing to the weak side or whether that's attacking just like Ella Harden did.
Kramer got that last foul for West Central. Her first, team 2nd, quick 3 on the way, no good. The rebound Thornton, and she's going to be fouled on the rebound. I think they're going to catch Ferguson with the foul. Or is it Mesteth?
Yeah, after a less than ideal start with Mockpia-Luta getting up to a 8-0 start, this West Central Trojans team has settled in a little bit. They slow this. If this pace is a little bit slower, it probably favors them because it means they're taking care of the basketball.
Jaton with the jumper. And just like that, we're tied at 15. Great rally here by the Trojans.
Being able to set this zone defense, too.
It has caused some problems here for Mockpia-Luta. Nice ball movement, in and out on the three, and the ball tipped around, and we're gonna have a traveling call as Knight couldn't keep her feet. Timeout on the court, 4:27 left. Second quarter, we're tied at 15. You're watching SDPB 3.
Protecting crops. Agronomy Plus in Mitchell, Rock Creek in Howard, and Valley Station in Armour provide agronomy services, fertilizer products, and crop analysis systems, including Agronomy 365. This system helps manage your field's performance, supporting small-town communities while hiring and training local youth. Agronomy Plus in Mitchell, Rock Creek in Howard, and Valley Station in Armour, serving area producers and their communities.
Is it the competition that keeps bringing you back? The long-standing rivalries? Or is it seeing friends again and cheering on your favorite team? At First Dakota, we're here for all of it. We appreciate the fans, the players, the coaches and officials, the concessions crew. The shared community experience is part of what makes life here great. And we're here for all of it. See you at the game.
All right, Mockpia-Luta plays it in after the traveling call. And it's intercepted by Jaton. We're tied at 15 here in the second quarter. He's Nate Kading. I'm Steve Toom. West Central was down by 8 early on, but they have rallied to tie it up. Here's a floating jump shot, good by Ellie Knight, her first points. And West Central has taken the lead.
On a 10-0 run here over these last couple of minutes.
Mishandle, a turnover, and now Carlo Blunt takes it away and puts it up over Knight, and Knight commits the foul, and that's her third.
And those are the situations that West Central has been able to keep Mockpia-Luta off here over the last few minutes, and when you're pitching ahead and making those passes, they rotate defensively so quick and anticipate. And it also helps to have an athlete like Carlo Blunt that can cover as much ground as she does.
All right, we have Harden and Knight checking out for West Central. Schultz back in along with Skonhovd. And we're tied at 17 as both of the free throws were good. Schultz with the ball. Looks like she wants to drive, throws it. It was tipped out of bounds by Carlo Blunt. Oh, they're gonna say it went off of Kramer. I think that's gotta be overturned. That looked like that was Carlo Blunt that. Yep, and they're going to give it to the Trojans. That's the right call. I had a good angle at that. And it was a good defensive play by Carlo Blunt to tap that ball away. It did not touch a West Central player.
Yeah, you always know it's probably the right one when they make it right in front of the bench that just lost the basketball and no one reacts.
Oh, ball loose on the floor. Carlo Blunt picks it up. Pass. Here's a drive, and we're going to have a travel. As that was number 2, Zephyr, who got out of control. But that's the pace Mockpia-Luta wants to play at.
Yeah, and the Trojans do have, West Central does have 11 turnovers, but they've still found a way to be right where you need, or right where you want to be if you're a fan, and there's another one.
Carlo Blunt on the move. Oh, what a fake, and scores. She's got 16.
You always talk about wanting to play off 2 feet when you can see people in front, and yeah, those are, Coach Caffrey's going to be
There's a miss on the three after the steal, but cleaning it up was Janice. And we've got a 30-second timeout called by West Central as Oswin's just gotten away from him here in the last few moments. Wide open three was missed, but on the backside, yeah, that was Layla Janice, the 5'7" senior, who cleaned it up.
In this Mock-Pialuta team, there oftentimes you talk about groups that play this style and their ability to spurt on you and put points on you in such a hurry. And if you're Coach Caffrey and his staff and the West Central group, like that is, you got to try to do everything in your power to not allow those runs to happen. When they start to happen, you got to stay together. You got to make smart decisions, and you got to be sure that you're working for as high a quality of shots as you possibly can.
Both teams combined are 1 of 18 from three-point land today. 1 of 14 for Mock-Pialuta, 0 of 4 for the Trojans. Here comes the press again. Schultz will get it across the timeline. Go to the corner. Here's a drive. Kramer lost it out of bounds.
Yeah, and right after we had talked about they had strung a couple good minutes together of a 10-0 run and really valuing the ball, they've had a few careless ones.
Carlo Blunt swings it around. Intercepted by Kramer. On the move, Skonhovd lost the handle. Thornton. Chaton with the ball now. Oh, Schultz almost had it and lost it, but she was fouled. And that was Zephyr who got the foul, her first.
You just get in so many situations. It's hard to complete clean passes against this Mock-Pialuta, and it's hard to execute offensively in the half court in the way that you do because they get so many tips on basketballs and deflections, and they're scrambling around.
Schultz, I think it was partially blocked. Standing Soldier ends up with it. Carlo Blunt gets around Chaton, beats it to the corner. There's a three. It's going to be short of the mark by Mesteth. The rebound to Kramer. Oh, Skonhovd couldn't handle it. Errant pass. Turnover Trojans. Mills in, and going to the bench is Haas for Mock-Pialuta. Here comes Carlo Blunt. She'll run the show. And that's Chaton getting the steal. A little behind the back dribble. Trying to get around Mesteth. Lost the handle. And we got a push foul.
And those are the situations that understanding the gaps that you want to attack and the ones that you want to stay away from. And there's times where you can almost over penetrate. You want to be able to make that decision a little bit earlier before you get caught going off 1 foot and trying to find somebody. You oftentimes say it as a coach, you can leave your feet to make a pass, but you don't want to leave your feet to try to find a pass.
Thornton got that last foul for West Central. Her first, team's fourth. Three on the way, good by Mills. And just like that, it's a 7-point lead. We were tied at 17. Not that long ago. Schultz drives across the lane. Wild shot, hit the top of the backboard. Somehow got her own rebound and throws it up again. And Mock-Pialuta comes away with the basketball. Short jumper, good, counted in the foul.
And things have loosened up offensively. You saw on the defensive end, Standing Soldier, they had a host of people that were deflecting Kaylee Schultz's shot and created a great opportunity on the other end as they had an advantage break.
Thornton just got her second foul. Team's fifth. Under a minute to go. Ferguson, she just collected her first bucket of the night. And the senior is a 71% free throw shooter, makes it for the old-fashioned three-point play. And the lead has ballooned to 10.
Yeah, 12-0 run here. Coincided with West Central. They've had 8 turnovers here in the last 4 minutes.
Schultz, bounce pass, shot from the corner, good, and that's a 3. And that was Skonhoved. And quickly, Ferguson comes the other way, and it's out of bounds. It'll go to the Trojans. Shot clock is off.
And that was the Trojans' first made 3. That they're on only their 5th attempt. They've really attacked that paint area really well, whether it's Casey Schultz has had a few nice attacks, Jaton, Ellie Knight.
Here comes Harden down the lane, short on the shot. She had a good look. 22 seconds left. Carlo Blunt wanted to run, saw the clock, decided to slow it down. 14 seconds and counting. Carlo Blunt gives it to Ferguson, gets it back. She'll drive down the paint. And a timeout, I believe, called by Makpialuta.
Yeah, I think Coach Rama was wondering what was going to happen there, and yeah, sometimes you don't see that a lot. Normally, you're going to take one or a little bit earlier with 10, 12 seconds on the clock, or but yeah. Didn't like what he had. I would say that anytime you got the basketball in number 1's hands, you're probably in a decent position.
I agree wholeheartedly, but hey, you got the timeout, might as well use it if you're Makpialuta. They're up 27-20 at the moment. We mentioned they played a couple of AA schools throughout the year. West Central, their losses on the year to Sioux Falls Christian, Lenox, Coleman Egan, and Rapid City Christian. All right, here we go. It'll be Ferguson to make the entry pass. Carlo Blunt pressured right away. Can they get a shot off? They will. It will not go in from the corner, and Ferguson. Well, a very competitive first half. Makpialuta up 27-20 thanks to a late run here in quarter number 2. We'll step away and come back with more from the Class A Girls Basketball Tournament. You're watching SDPB.
As much as you have accomplished, there are times you'd rather not go it alone. While you determine what direction you go, we're here to help along the way. So go. Go with community. Go with neighbors. Go with understanding. Go with support.
Reading opens every door to learning, opportunity, and understanding. The South Dakota Department of Education is strengthening literacy outcomes for students across our state, helping educators connect classroom instruction to the science of how children learn to read and write. Through professional support and shared resources, schools are building strong foundation in literacy for every learner. South Dakota Department of Education, learning, leadership, service.
Halftime of our third game of the day here at the Class A Girls Basketball Tournament. Makpialuta ahead of West Central 27-20. Makpialuta, last year they were runner-up, lost the championship game on a last-second bucket heartbreak for them, but they're trying to take that last step and capture a championship. And the player that has led them all year, Ashlyn Carlo Blunt, the 6-foot senior, has had a remarkable career. And she talks about her legacy at Machpelah Luta and what she plans for the future. We caught up with her yesterday at practice.
I want people to remember like my smile on the court. I feel like I try to always have a smile on my face, you know, because I love this sport and I'm really thankful to be able to healthy and be able to play and to represent my people. And I feel like I just want the people to remember me as like a good player, not only on the court but off the court. I hope that when I play, my personality shines through, and you know, I teach people to play with good sportsmanship and to play with thankfulness and to play with love. Play with love for the game and for your teammates and for yourself and for the people watching you. I hope that's what showed from my career, and I can't believe there's only 3 more games left of me in a Machpelah Luta jersey. I get a little sad when I think about it, but I've made a lot of great memories and a lot of good friendships with these years, and so I couldn't be more thankful and blessed.
Definitely a special player on and off the court, Nate, and you take a look at what she has been a part of here. 5th straight trip to the state tournament for this program, and also 5 years in a row of winning the LNI tournament.
And she represents all that is right about basketball. I've been fortunate enough to get to know both her and her family over these last couple of years, and she's just she represents this program and herself and her family very well, and she's gonna continue to go on and do great things in Vermilion, and she's one of those people that are gonna continue to do great things for the next 50, 60 years of her life.
No doubt about that. We've got a good game going here. 7-point game. We'll take a timeout. We'll have some highlights from the first half, have some stats and more. This is Class A girls basketball. You're watching SDPB 3.
Bioethanol supplies more than just energy. It creates jobs in rural communities. It drives demand for local corn. It provides opportunities for family farms to thrive. To ensure agriculture plays a leading role in the efforts to decarbonize and transition energy, bioethanol remains at the forefront of a pursuit for a cleaner, brighter future for all Americans. Learn how at sdethanol.com.
Creating a legacy means different things to everyone. For us, it's about family, watching my daughter follow in my footsteps, passing the farm under her, and working side by side every day. It's about building something that lasts. Agtegra Cooperative has been by our side through it all, supporting us from one generation to the next. Agtegra Cooperative, legacy rich, future focused for generations to come.
Powering the possibilities of tomorrow starts today. For our homes, our farms, our businesses. That's why our Touchstone Energy Cooperative continually plans for the future by utilizing and sourcing safe, reliable power for the next generation. So we can power possibilities long into the future. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, powering possibilities.
For your little ones and your biggest joys. Or your forever friends. And your fur kids, too. For your better half. Or your all-time bestie. For the reasons you smile, there's coverage. With dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of South Dakota and Delta Vision.
Get a look at some of the fans here in the Watertown Civic Arena. Along with Nate Kading, I'm Steve Toom. We're at halftime, 3rd game of the day. Machpelah Luta 27, West Central 20 here at the break. Machpelah Luta got off to a great start. We're up by 10 points, but West Central cut into that lead, but a late spurt by Machpelah Luta has gotten them a 7-point lead, and there's a big story in that first half was Ashlyn Carlo Blunt.
And she really showed her versatility and how special she is, especially attacking that basket. Found her way to the foul line a few times. And as you mentioned, kind of a half of runs. Mock-Pialuta and then West Central answered. And then to finish the half, Mock-Pialuta again.
Yep, really that little Euro step there. Jatan there gets the bucket.
In a really balanced scoring effort for the Trojans. They already have 6 in the scoring column, led by Casey Jatan with 6 and Schoenhoven with 5. And Abby Thornton has given up some good minutes and a host of others.
There's just a little too much of number 1, and then Maya Mills came on late, hit a couple of trays in that second quarter. She has 6 points, but it's Carlo Blunt leading everybody with 16-12 in the first quarter. Meanwhile, 6 points for Jatan, leading that balanced attack for the West Central Trojans. Shooting stats, 10 of 34 for Mock-Pialuta and 8 of 22 for West Central. So 29% for Mock-Pialuta, 36% for West Central, but you see 12 more shots put up by the team in white. Neither team shooting well from beyond the arc. Rebounds, pretty even. That's a key stat for West Central.
And a big thing, anytime you're going to play this Mock-Pialuta team, is your ability, we've talked about it a bunch, to take care of the basketball. And if that 17 number replicates itself in the second half, it's going to be tough for West Central to hang around. They got to keep that number below that if they're going to try to make up the 7-point deficit. And frankly, hang around against the Mock-Pialuta team that didn't shoot the ball great in that first half, only 2 of 17 from 3. West Central was pretty content to sit in that zone for a lot of that first half, and honestly pretty fortunate that that Mock-Pialuta missed some of the wide open shots that they did.
In the steals department, 15 for Mock-Pialuta, but West Central, they've got 10 steals of their own, so they're hanging in there defensively. The third quarter getting underway right now. Trojans face some pressure as they'll handle the rock first. Jatan through traffic, lost the handle, taken away by Ferguson. Ferguson on the move, lays it up too strong, and the rebound tipped to the outside. Mills controlled it. Now Knife with the ball, throws it to the corner, and Mills. Carlo Blunt wants it, shovels it off. Mesteth on the move, too strong. Thornton had it, lost it. It's picked up, and there's the bucket by Mock-Pialuta.
That was a nice quick swing around, and Ferguson with the drive, just a little strong, but they were able to corral that rebound.
Pass underneath, tapped away. Carlo Blunt on the move, and it's Knight who ends up with it, takes it away from Mesteth. She'll drive and foul, committed by Mock-Pialuta. Mills will get her second.
Mock-Pialuta foul on number 0, Mills.
Anytime you're starting a half as a coaching staff, you're talking in the locker room that the first couple minutes of each quarter, each break coming out, you want to be able to assert yourself. And there they threaded the needle to Schoenhoven.
Yep, and she was fouled on her approach to the bucket. 2 free throws coming up for the Trojans. And for Carlo Blunt, that is her first foul.
Anytime you're making passes against this defense, you're dribbling the ball in traffic, if you're a West Central fan, your heart kind of stops a little bit, because there's so much activity and so many bodies always flying around that basketball from Mock-Pialuta.
She got them both, give her 7. And the lead is 7. Trojans sinking back in that 2-3 zone. That was all the rage a number of years ago, about 10, 12 years ago in women's college basketball. Carlo Blunt has to save it, and I think that one's gonna be on Mesteth. It will be her second.
And they had hit Mesteth at the high post, and she was trying to kick it out to Carlo Blunt, but threw it way over her head. And you can see the attack, Mock-Pialuta, they're not wasting any dribbles in that zone attack, keeping people pretty stationary on the court in their positions and just trying to zip it around with the pass.
There's that pressure defense. Thornton handled it momentarily. They swing it over. Jeton, a three, a good look, but it's short. But she gets her own rebound through traffic. No, Knife gets the rebound. Carlo Blunt on the move.
They got numbers coming the other direction.
She'll get some free throws as she hits the deck. And foul will be on the Trojans. Let's see who gets tagged for the foul. That will be Thornton, and that's a big one. That's her third. I mentioned the 2-3 defense. I was calling NAIA games a number of years ago, and it seemed like almost all the teams I saw were doing the 2-3 zone, at least as part of their defensive strategy, as that free throw is good.
I once had a wise coach that said, play more zone, win more games, Steve. That's I don't necessarily subscribe to that with the young youth teams, but yeah, you see it a bunch, especially at the high school level.
Pass into the front court goes to Knight. Into the paint, Thornton had it blocked, and it's saved from going out of bounds. Mesteth made some contact, no foul, gives it back to Carlo Blunt. She'll direct traffic. Under 6 minutes to go. Mills lines up a three, and it's good. She's got 9, all of them on threes.
When that basketball comes out of Maya Mills' hands, it's pretty pure, especially when she's able to be in balance and get her feet set. And she's found a few of those against the 2-3 zone.
Carlo Blunt tapped that one right out of bounds into the scorer's table.
You almost feel like this is a little bit of a breaking point for this West Central group. Down 7 to start the half, and now down 12.
Travel is the call. Yeah, I think you're right. This is a point in the game where teams like Makpia Luta, they start extending that lead, putting them at arm's length and kind of putting the game out of reach. This is going to be a critical next 2-3 minutes here for West Central. They've got to not let that lead of Makpia Luta balloon, but that three is good. Mills is red hot. And the lead now 15.
And that's one way to get people to change their defense, is just shoot them out of it. And Maya Mills is trying to do that herself right now. 4 made threes from the entire team, all by Maya Mills, who's 4 of 11 from there. The team is 4 of 19 overall.
But Mills just picked up her 3rd foul. Jeton steps back and hits a 3 of her own. Jeton with 9. And that was a big bucket for the Trojans. Under 5 minutes to go.
And these are the situations, even if you're going to stay in the zone and there, nice little pro hop to space, and you see that soft touch from Carlo Blunt.
Yep, she's got 20. Jeton has a couple of defenders in her face. Gives up the ball. Thornton had it stolen away by Ferguson. Up ahead, Mesteth ahead of everybody. Gets the layup, her first points of the night. And here's Jeton with a nice three. Check that, Kramer. That was Kramer with the bucket. Her first points. And a full timeout has been called by West Central. We'll step away for a moment and be back with more here on SDPB.
You're committed to building relationships, to exceeding expectations, to serving your community. Your financial partner should share your vision and your values. For 130 years, we've stood by South Dakotans. We've been there, we'll be there. Convenient, connected, committed. Bank West, member FDIC.
South Dakota, a state shaped by its people. It's more than a place, it's opportunity waiting to be realized. At South Dakota State University, opportunity is turned into progress. Through research, education, and a community that inspires, SDSU drives the future of this state. We're not just here, we're taking action with purpose, trust, and impact. This is SD State.
And we are back. It is 41-28, Machpelah-Luta on top after the Trojans called timeout. They'll set back in that 2-3 zone. Carlo Blunt will drive, pull it back out. Wants to fire the shot, cannot do so.
And Machpelah-Luta's been really efficient here in this third quarter. 5 of 8 from the floor.
6 on the shot clock. Carlo Blunt in trouble. They'll have to fire it up, and it will. Oh, that never hit the iron. Timeout on the court. We've got 3:36 left to go, third quarter. 41-28. Machpelah-Luta on top. Back in a moment, right here on SDPB3.
Lake Area Technical College provides hands-on learning and practical experience in real-world environments. Prepare for a career right out of school from the moment you step on campus for an education that can really be put to work. Lake Area Tech is the start of something new.
Our Peterson Farm Seed Reps real-life seed heroes, well, they've been known to go the extra mile, literally thousands of extra miles every year. And when they're not driving gravel roads, they're out walking fields and sampling soil. When time is the enemy, they're there to save what's left of the day. Are all Peterson Farm Seed Reps seed heroes? I guess that's a yes. Peterson Farm Seed, we're that kind of seed company.
Back to action here in Watertown. Class A girls basketball. Machpelah-Luta ahead of West Central 41-28. And the pass out of bounds. Turnover Trojans. The pressure pays off for the team in white.
And those are the tough situations where they're not necessarily even forced by the defense. They're forced by the illusion of the defense when you're getting ready to attack it. But yeah, those are the ones that will make you go a little crazy as a coach.
Stallman into the game, number 2. Knight back into the game. She's been out. She's had 3 fouls right away and has had to sit a long time. Carlo Blunt lines up a 3. It's going to be off the mark. Tip to the outside. Who's got it? Scramble for it. Still loose. And Machpelah-Luta has it. And now West Central tips it away. Who wants it? And I think we're going to have a foul on West Central.
I thought we had a soccer game that broke out there briefly, Steve. Basketball was going all over the place.
Stallman with the foul, her first, team second. And it will be Zephyr to trigger it in. Carlo Blunt lost the handle. Rare occasion that happens. Knight ends up with the ball. Gets it back from Stallman now. Jaton with it. Winds her way through traffic. Knight can't fire the 3. Jaton, 2 defenders in her face.
You can see them really keying on whenever Casey Jaton touches the ball.
Steal by Machpelah-Luta. Carlo Blunt, the floater. Yes, soft touch there. And the lead back to 15 points. Jaton.
Yeah, and a couple times when they've stretched it out to 15, 16, Trojans have hit a couple huge threes. We'll see if they're able to keep this again within striking distance.
And we're going to have over the back on Schultz. That is her 3rd personal foul.
And Ellie Knight, after finishing a runner like that in that first half, was a little shy and off the mark.
Some subs in for Machpelah-Luta. Janice went to the bench along with Haas. Mills back in. They have Standing Soldier in the game. Let's see if they try to post her up. They'll fire Mills a 3, in and out. That was halfway down. Tapped along the baseline and off of a Trojan. It'll stay. with Machpelah-Lutah.
We had a great angle on that one, Steve. And yeah, that ball from Maya Mills did everything except for rattle down and
go to the corner. There's a three on the way, and that is good. Zephyr.
And she shot a bunch of them. 54 threes coming into tonight's game. Only 12 makes, but there she shot one really confidently to stretch this out to an 18-point game.
Minute 32 left, and a foul on Machpelah-Lutah. That's Mesteth, and that is her third. Team fifth, so an opportunity here for the Trojans to score without the clock ticking. Knight at the line, 0 of 2 on the night.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah, and the Trojans only, well, that'll put them at 6 of 11 from the foul line. And on the other side, Machpelah-Lutah is perfect from the foul line, 7 of 7 right now. Carlo Blunt, 6 of 6 herself.
That free throw no good. Standing Soldier the rebound.
Yeah, those are the situations that you got to play when you dig yourself a hole like this. You got to play darn near perfect to take advantage of those opportunities to get back in a game against a team like this. There's a reason why they were 21-0, and there was a reason why they only had 2 games that were within even 10 and 14 points.
Stallman with the foul, and there's Mills, another three. She was wide open. She's got 15, all on three-pointers. And the lead is 20.
I think Maya Mills' eyes are just lighting up against this zone defense.
Ball out of bounds to the Trojans, and that's how you beat a zone, outside shots. And if you got that three-point specialist, that can bust up a zone defense.
Yeah, offensive rebounds, and like you said, catch and shoot threes. Right now, Machpelah-Lutah 11 offensive rebounds, West Central only 4, and there, yeah. Carlo Blunt was thinking that she was going to dunk it on the other end there as she was anticipating that pass.
That's her second personal foul. More free throws coming up for the Trojans here. With under a minute to go here in quarter number 3. They were up by 7 at the break, but they've extended it to 20. 22-9 advantage team in white here in quarter number 3 when it comes to scoring.
And you gotta give credit to the zone attack as well from Machpelah-Lutah. They're moving the basketball. It's not sticking in people's hands. And when you got a hot shooter like Maya Mills is currently, you want that basketball to be able to find her, and they're doing a very nice job of that.
4 points for Knight. As here comes Kramer into the game. Chaton will get a break. And here comes Schoenhoven into the break game. We got a 30-second timeout. Timeout called by Machpelah-Lutah here with 56 seconds left to go in this third period of play. They're up by 19 points.
We talked about it was a half of runs in that first half, and coming out here in the third quarter, it's been one long run pretty much, and it's been all Machpelah-Lutah. West Central hit a couple threes to keep it within 12 both times, and they got up to 15 and 16, and now they've stretched this all the way to 19 here with basically 8 minutes to play.
Carlo Blunt with 22. She also has 8 rebounds and 5 assists. What a night for her, and we still got a full quarter to play. And depending on the situation, she will probably not play 8 minutes in that final quarter.
Yeah, it wasn't unusual for her keeping up on the stats throughout the year. Multiple times, double-doubles, couple triple-doubles mixed in right there. She's not only one that can score, rebound, and pass, but she's also had games where she's created 10 steals herself.
Yeah, she averages 5 steals a game. They're going to burn a little clock here. High post. Ferguson back to Carlo Blunt. Mills has it. Lost the handle. Picked up by Chaton. Checked that was Harden. She'll get it back, and she was bumped in the paint and she'll get some free throws with 23 seconds left. And Hardin, see on the move here. That foul was called on Ashlyn Carlo Blunt. That is her third. Here's Hardin at the line. No good on this season, 60% for the freshman.
It's been another just big difference in the disparity of this game, and that's going to put him at 7 of 15 overall. And I said it before when I think she crossed the line, so that one's not even going to count as well. But when you're trying to have success against a team like this 21-0 Mock-Pialuta team, you gotta try to control the things that are within your control, and making free throws is definitely within your control.
They're going to play for the final opportunity here. Carlo Blunt puts it in motion, gets it back, fires, 3-ball, no. Rebound West Central, and we are done with our third period of play. It's 49-30, Mock-Pialuta on top. Back with the final stanza in a moment, right here on SDPB 3.
For over 55 years, Muth Electric has been powering progress across the Midwest. Our team of professionals deliver electrical solutions with innovation and safety at the core. We work with purpose, knowing that each project contributes to something bigger. Muth Electric, a partner in building a brighter future since 1970.
Your Great Plains Case IH dealers know that hard work starts early, in the field and on the field or the court. Dedication, teamwork, pride. The values driving farmers also power South Dakota athletes. Growing crops or growing champions, it takes the same drive to succeed. Your local Great Plains Case IH dealers know the future is built by showing up day after day, ready to work, ready to win. Great Plains Case IH dealers, supporting schools, athletes, and the communities we grow.
Welcome back to Watertown in the Civic Arena. Quarter number 4 starts. Mock-Pialuta on top, 49-30. Along with Nate Kading, I'm Steve Toom. Big period there, 22-10 in that third quarter. Mock-Pialuta with the edge scoring-wise. Shot no good by Carlo Blunt, and Thornton gets the rebound. Up ahead, Schoenholm with the ball to Thornton. Chaton, a really long 3, air ball. Oh, Kramer had it, but missed the reverse layup. And we got a tie up for a ball, and it's a jump ball, and it will give it to West Central.
And you just need to play. You get yourself into a situation like this, down 49-30. There needs to be a ton of urgency on both sides, and you certainly can't have possessions like that.
Counted in the foul. Mesteth goes coast to coast. Thornton gets her 4th personal foul. Mock-Pialuta really rolling right now.
And it's hard to simulate what they do, and sometimes coaches will put you feel at times like you're playing against more than 5 people out there with their anticipatory abilities and how hard they compete, some of the length that they put out on the court.
Mills collects the foul out on the perimeter, and that is her 4th. And yeah, I don't know how you practice against it unless you just put 6 or 7 players on the floor and tell your team, okay, this is what it's going to seem like.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. They can just, even if you prepare all week or the amount of time that you had coming in, and you know, you can handle it early. Sometimes it wears on you mentally, it wears on you physically, and you need to see multiple plays ahead of time. And that's what is the most challenging thing for these young high school athletes to do.
3 is good by Chaton. She's in double figures with 12. It's 52-33. Here's a drive, shut down, and Knife in the corner, misfires on the three. Rebound to West Central. They'll press it with Kramer. Has to give it up. Jaton, the long three, that one's short of the mark. Well, I think Carlo Blunt touched it, and then it went off her hands out of bounds.
Yeah, that was a nice baseline drive there by Kramer and that nice diagonal 45 pass, but I think that shot by Jaton was actually deflected.
Thornton puts it up in traffic, and she was fouled. And she'll have 2 free throws. Peyton Knife got her third.
See them just pass that basketball right in that soft area in the high post.
And that is missed by Thornton, a 51% free throw shooter on the year.
Yeah, and that's going to put them under 45% on the game from the foul line.
That one's good. Give her 5 points on the night. And the lead is 18. Now Trojans applying some pressure. Jaton tips it, but out of bounds.
Yeah, it was their own version, putting 2 people on the basketball and trying to be an interceptor in that passing lane.
Carlo Blunt directing traffic, gets the bounce pass, high post. Ferguson thought about it.
Yeah, and you can just see these Mockpialuta, and there's a nice attack right there. And make her way. Oh, what a...
I think they're going to call offensive foul or traveling. Well, they did not put a foul up there, so I got to assume it's traveling. And that will give the ball to West Central. So no foul on the play as the Trojans advance.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty good just catch and rip to me, but...
oh, look out. As Carlo Blunt had it, lost it on the... got the steal, but couldn't handle it. 5:47 left to go in regulation. Trojans play it in. And they'll throw it into the front court. Jaton, oh, she was fouled from beyond the arc, and she'll get 3 free throws as Mesteth picks up her 4th foul.
Pretty heady play there by Casey Jaton. You can see it here on the replay. She knew that Mesteth was coming into her landing zone, and she almost leaned into it, sold it for the stripes, even a little more.
Free throw is good. She's a 78% free throw shooter, and you got to figure some colleges are going to be knocking on her door.
Yeah, we've had multiple ones that I've seen in the stands here. A host of a couple Division I schools, a host of local Division II schools, and we talked about some of the prospects even in that early game, and we've had them in pretty well each of our games here today.
Free throw is good, 2 out of 3. Yeah, you got to figure a player like Jaton, we're going to see her at the next level. And she almost got a steal there. Mesteth into the front court. Stays out there with the 4 fouls. Pass tipped and out of bounds. Trojans still playing hard. They're down by 16 with 5:27 left.
Yeah, you mentioned it. They continue to scrap and claw, and Mockpialuta is being a little bit more hesitant in their attack.
That pass went inside the Knife, but it was taken away, and now Mockpialuta gets it back, and wide open is Ferguson. She's got 5. And here comes Schoenhovd, and she'll score, and she's got 9.
Nice little slide step there by Mackenzie Schoenhovd.
And we've got a foul on the floor, and we will take a timeout and come back with more from the Class A girls basketball tournament. You're watching SDPB 3.
Creating a legacy means different things to everyone. For us, it's about family, watching my daughter follow in my footsteps, passing the farm onto her and working side by side every day. It's about building something that lasts. Agtegra Cooperative has been by our side through it all, supporting us from one generation to the next. Agtegra Cooperative, legacy rich, future focused for generations to come.
At Southeast Technical College, you won't just study for a career, you'll live it. Training in classrooms that look, feel, and operate just like the real world. Because the best way to do what you learn is to learn by doing. Get your degree, get to work at Southeast Technical College.
Hey, buddy.
Fourth quarter action here. Machpelah-Luta on top, 54-38 against West Central. I'm Steve Toom. He's Nate Kading. Great to have you here. We're in Watertown at the Civic Arena for Class A girls basketball. And here's Zephyr in the front court. Pass intercepted by Thornton.
Yeah, and the Trojans extended that defense right there. And it's a good wall up there by Carlo Blunt.
And I think we're going to get a quick timeout called by West Central to save the possession with 4:33 left after a shot that was missed.
Yeah, and the Trojans had exactly what they wanted right there. Came out of the timeout, the media extended their defense, created the turnover, and then had a point-blank look.
SDPB's coverage of high school sports and activities is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you. A contribution today helps support the broadcast of events such as the basketball championships. Make a donation today by visiting sdpb.org/donate. Shooting percentages at the moment, 34 for the Trojans, 38 for Machpelah-Luta, but they've put up 17 more shots from the floor.
Yeah, when you look at in Machpelah-Luta, a little bit uncharacteristically has 19 turnovers themselves, and when you play at the breakneck pace that they do, I mean, you're going to live with some of that if you're Coach Rama, but that will certainly be something if they do finish this off, move into the semis and the finals. If you're going to win a state championship, it's going to be tough to be real careless and sloppy with the basketball and get that done.
Jaton through traffic, misses the shot. Comes Ferguson, the shovel pass. Zephyr blocked by Knight. Outlet up ahead, Jaton. Can't get it to go. Thornton in traffic will get some free throws. Take a look at it again as that foul will go on Standing Soldier, and that is her third.
It was nice effort there by Abby Thornton, sticking with the play. Had some numbers advantage going up, and Carlo Blunt did a nice job walling up on Casey Jaton, but Abby Thornton cleaned the scraps up.
And she makes both free throws, 7 points on the night.
They've quietly cut this back to a 14-point lead here with still 4 minutes to play. Plenty of time to play if they can still cause some havoc defensively.
And there's going to be a foul on Schoenhoven, and that will be her second. That is the third team foul. Pressure in the backcourt. Carlo Blunt gets it. Lets everybody pass her by. Gets it across the timeline. Pass, Standing Soldier wide open, but missed the bunny. Gets it back, and the jumper is good by Carlo Blunt. She has 24.
It's a comfort as a coach to have her trying to break that press and handle it through it. And
layup no good by Knight. Rebound, Carlo Blunt. Calling for a little bit of help. Gets it in the form of Zephyr. Passes ahead, Ferguson on the move. Lobs it up, short. Standing Soldier the rebound, and she is going to be fouled in the paint and will get 2 free throws.
And Standing Soldier hasn't played a ton here tonight. Just over 12 minutes of game action, but when she's been in, she's made some good things happen, and there she finds a nice dump off right to her.
Free throw is good, 68% on the year. That foul on Jatan, by the way, her first, team's 4th. Second one coming up for the 6'2" junior, averages 7.5 points, 6 rebounds per game. That was her first point, and that one rolls off the rim. Jatan with the rebound. Pressure just relentless. Pass down low, Schultz, nothing there. Ball's picked up by Makpia Luta. They're on the run once again. Mesteth got it. She has 5.
And right after we were talking about having this at 14, quickly back up to 19. So you see another turnover.
Oh, but it's over the head of Ferguson, and she can't track it down. 19-point edge with 3:02 on the clock here in the 4th quarter, and that's the thing Makpia Luta can do to you. You get close, and then they have a couple of spurts, a couple of fast break buckets, and all of a sudden the lead's extended once again. Knight with the ball. Into the paint, Jatan wants to wheel and deal, turns around, short of the mark. Rebound Makpia Luta, but they want to run. Nothing for Mesteth. Mills can't fire the 3.
Yeah, and I think Mills thought about that one with how she's been, and she'll definitely take that one.
And she is feeling it with 18 points, all on 3-pointers.
Who needs the 2, right, Steve? Let's just stay behind that 3. And Maya Mills.
Well, it's the old saying, you count to 100 by 3s faster than by 2s.
She's been the one-person zone solution right there, and I shouldn't say that because they've done a nice job of moving the basketball to her.
And we're going to have a foul on Makpia Luta, as there are a number of reserves at the bench or at the scorer's table for both squads. And that will be a foul on Mesteth, and she is just fouled out of the game. And she fouls out with 7 points, but she's played a really good game tonight. And she'll be replaced by Kaimana Newbro. We'll try to catch the players here. Talissa Herman coming in, number 21. Number 22, that's Keegan Carlo. She's into the game. Ophelia Zuniga is into the game, number 23. I think we also got Ania Lunderman, number 11, in, as the free throw by Knight is up and in. We'll try to catch some of these reserves here also for West Central. We got Ella Harden into the game, and the free throw is good by Knight. Her Knight is over with 6 points. Number 4, into the game for West Central. For West Central, they've got Emma Volz in, number 15. Number 22 is Jordan Phillips. Number 4 is Bella McGraw. And 42 is Avery Eberhard.
Yeah, always fun when you can get some state tournament action, even in situations like this, moments that people don't soon forget.
But the lead 20, reserves will get some playing time here at a state tournament. For West Central, we mentioned last time they were here was 2022. For Makpia Luta, they've been here 5 years in a row.
And this West Central group has a bunch of good younger players led by Casey Jatan and Ellie Knight, and have a good youth program out there in Hartford. So I have a feeling they might not be going another 3 or 4 years before they make it back to state here after this one.
Down low into the paint, shot up, no good by Zuniga. But there's a bucket for Makpia Luta.
Yeah, and you can see Ashlyn Carlo Blunt's cousin there, Keegan Carlo, the 7th grader, and looking like her cousin running around out there.
On the perimeter there is McGraw into the paint, shot up, no good. Tipped around to the outside, controlled by Makpia Luta, and they get it into the front court. That is Zuniga. Throwing it up there was Keegan Carlo. And she will get some free throws. Foul was on Harden, her first. Carlo at the line for 2, misses the first of 2.
The Trojans just, after really battling in that first half and withstanding a couple runs to have it at 7 at halftime, just couldn't keep it within striking distance, and a lot of that was the Mile Mills and Ashlyn Carlo Blunt handled that zone attack pretty well, caused West Central into almost 30 turnovers.
McGraw with it to Harden, runs into a wall, but traveled with 24 seconds left. Yep, game was tied at 17 at one point, but Makpia went on a run after that. Outside, three-pointer on the way. It's going to be off the mark. Tipped around to the outside, and McGraw is going to control it. Can she get a shot off? Well, she's going to collide with the player near half court. That was Newbro, and there'll be some free throws coming up. Nope, they're going to say it just went out of bounds. No foul. 5 seconds left. And will she fire it? Yes, she will. It would have counted. And 65-42 is our final score. The number 2 seed advances on to semifinal Friday night. We'll take a break, come back, hear from the head coach, have stats, highlights from the game as well. Coming back in a moment, right here on SDPB3.
We aren't meant to be still. And while you determine the direction you'll go, we're just here to help you along the way. So go. Go with experience. Go with teamwork. Go with neighbors. Go with integrity.
What does primary care mean to us? At Sanford Health, it means being there when and where you need it most. It means building a relationship, because when a provider really knows you, they can deliver the best care for every aspect of your health and your life. So what does primary care mean for you? It means understanding your health for today and for where you're headed next. It means a lifetime of care for a lifetime of you.
There's your final score. Machpelah Luta on top, 65-42. And Nate Kading standing by with the winning coach.
Coach, after a back and forth first half a little bit, runs both ways, what do you allude that second half and being able to create some separation to?
Well, I told them, we shoot the ball. We can shoot the ball. We were kind of off for a while, but our defense was still good. So I was like, the ball's going to go in. If they're going to continue to let us stay in the zone and let us shoot the three, I feel pretty confident that we'll start scoring, and we were able to.
No doubt. Talk a little bit about, obviously you guys have a heck of a regular season, 21-0 coming in. You got to the point that you wanted to be last year, but didn't finish it the way that you wanted to. What have been your guys' focus coming into this state tournament to stay in the moment?
Well, we're just trying to focus on West Central. That's all we talked about. If you don't win the first game, you can't move forward. And I think about it like, every team's unique, and I think everybody else is like last year. But for some of these kids, this is their first time ever being at state. It's a big deal to them, and so you wanted them to have a wonderful experience. You want them to feel the moment, and you can see that some of them had a hard time at the start, But I think that this was a good start to the tournament, so we're excited.
No doubt, Coach. Congrats on the win. I appreciate the time.
Wopila.
All right, thank you, Matt Rama, the head coach for Machpelah Luta. They stay unbeaten with an impressive 65-42 win over West Central here tonight. They outscored them 22-10 in the third quarter and 16-12 in the fourth quarter to extend the lead of 7 points that they had. As we look at some of the highlights here from the second half of play, and it was Maya Mills really opening up with some three-pointers. There's Mesteth on the run out as she gets the bucket there. There's the three, nice fake. That was Kramer who got that bucket. And Carlo Blunt just down the lane, the soft touch. The inbounds play goes to the corner, the three on the way and good. Turnovers were a story, and the Machpelah Luta team was able to capitalize. A three. Chaton did all she could, 14 points for her on the night, but it wasn't enough. Machpelah Luta pressing their advantage, getting those transition buckets. Nate, they got them time and again.
Yeah, and they're really tough when they're able to create those turnovers and get out and run, and that's their style, and they've proven it game in and game out throughout this entire season. It's what they do. They buy into it. They preach it as a coaching staff, and oh yeah, it helps to have some players along with it, and certainly Ashley Carlo Blunt and Maya Mills were huge tonight.
Carlo Blunt with 24 points. 18 for Maya Mills on the night, and Carlo Blunt also had 8 rebounds and 6 assists as she played 29 minutes tonight, and it was Chaton leading the way, the only player in double figures with 14 for West Central. You get a look at the team totals there. Turnovers 29-20, 9 more for West Central in this game.
It's just tough to overcome when Machpelah Luta gets 62 shot attempts versus 41 shot attempts from the West Central Trojans. And when you shoot from the foul line, only 14-24, it's a tough recipe.
So we know 3 of the 4 teams that are in the semifinals. We'll take a break, come back and get you set up for our last matchup of the night. Sioux Falls Christian and Wagner back in a couple of minutes right here on SDPB3.
You hear about work-life balance like it's a big equation you have to find the answer to. But I think it's much simpler than that. So simple it was right in front of us. Start with the life you want, and everything else will follow.
Educators across South Dakota are coming together to elevate, educate, and empower. This June, the Department of Education hosts the South Dakota Literacy Conference in Mitchell, a gathering dedicated to advancing the science of reading and sharing new insights into how students learn, exploring research and real-world strategies for South Dakota educators to move literacy forward for all learners. South Dakota Department of Education, learning, leadership, service.
Bank West is rooted in South Dakota. Committed to local success. Just like you. We're all connected. In South Dakota. For South Dakota. Convenient, connected, committed. Bank West.
SDPB brings you the South Dakota Boys State Basketball Tournament. You can catch all the action Thursday, March 19th through Saturday, March 21st. For more information, including the multiple ways to watch the games live, go to sdpb.org/basketball. Complete coverage of the South Dakota Boys State Basketball Tournament is brought to you by Dakota Bank and SD Corn. And we're back inside the Watertown Civic Arena, our home for 3 days plus here for Class A girls basketball. Sioux Falls Christian and Wagner. That is our final matchup of the night. Sioux Falls Christian, the defending state champions, won it on a last-second buzzer beater last year by Leslie Setzer. Dan DeYoung, the head coach there. They were 4th place in 2024. They qualified in 2023, also 22 and 2021, so where they got 5th place. So this is their 6th year in a row here at the state tournament. They've got a strong team, obviously missing some pieces from last year's championship squad, but they have played a pretty tough schedule, especially in that Dakota 12 conference, in making it back to the state tournament this year. Their losses on the year to Lennox, a school out of Minnesota, also Rapid City Christian and Hamlin. They did beat Yankton during the regular season. Elk Point, Jefferson, and Vermilion, that's who they had to get by in the regions, and then beat Groton by 30 in the SODAC 16 round.
And you mentioned Leslie Setzer averaging 17 points, 9 rebounds a game, and obviously had that huge basket at the end of their state championship last year. And although they did lose some seniors, they return a bunch of these ladies that were a big part of that run last year.
Yes, Aubrey Van Beek, Emery Lynn, Sydney Scott, Ruth Dvoracek. You have Lems at 9 points. Dvoracek just shy of 10 points per game. Again, one of these teams with a very, very balanced attack. They're going to be a tough team to handle. Van Beek scheduled to play at Dakota Wesleyan next year, playing basketball there. And Scott, she's going to Bethel University to run track and do the heptathlon. So you know she's a good all-around athlete. And Ruth Dvoracek going to Wayne State to play basketball. So they got some young ladies that are very talented, and they're going to be competing at the next level for head coach Dan DeYoung. We'll step aside for a moment, and then we will come back and meet the Red Raiders of Wagner. Along with Nate Kading, I'm Steve Toom. This is Class A Girls Basketball, and you are watching SDPB.
Powering the possibilities of tomorrow starts today. For our homes, our farms, our businesses. That's why our Touchstone Energy Cooperative continually plans for the future by utilizing and sourcing safe, reliable power for the next generation. So we can power possibilities long into the future. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, powering possibilities.
South Dakota, a state shaped by its people. It's more than a place, it's opportunity waiting to be realized. At South Dakota State University, opportunity is turned into progress. Through research, education, and a community that inspires, SDSU drives the future of this state. We're not just here, we're taking action with purpose, trust, and impact. This is SD State.
Don't be fooled by that beat-up old cap. Its faded crown represents the tireless work of America's farmers and ranchers. Its sturdy brim, their dedication to providing our nation with a safe, affordable food source. From sunup to sundown, they're turning quarters into the dollars that drive our rural economy. So we'd like to tip our hat to them. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
Arthur Edwards has been the royal photographer for 40 years, capturing some of the royal family's most iconic and controversial photos.
And of course, as she went to kiss him, she turned her head, and that was the picture.
An intimate portrait of the man behind the lens and his favorite moments.
It's kiss, 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 kiss. Fabulous.
Arthur, a life with the royal family.
Tonight after basketball on SDPB.
Back for our final contest of the day here in Watertown, Class A girls basketball. We met Sioux Falls Christian. Now let's meet the Wagner Red Raiders. Michael Kopel is the head coach there. Last year they got 7th place. In 2023 they were the runner-up team. They also qualified in 2022 for the Class A tournament, as they are 19-2 on the season. They have played a very tough schedule, and a lot of teams did want to play this Wagner team because they wanted a chance to match up against Ashland Copel. There you see Mount Vernon Plankington. That's who they beat in the regions, and then beat Dell Rapids 46-31 in the Sodak 16 round. 57 points per game is what this team averages, and well, let's just go right away. Ashland Copel may be as good as any player that has ever played in the state of South Dakota.
Yeah, she's a treat to watch, and not only is she a special player, she's a high-level person as well, but averages 28 points a game, 14 rebounds, averaging a double-double, and maybe the most impressive thing are her shooting splits and percentages. 64% from the floor, 46 from 3, and almost 90% from the free throw line as a 6'3", whatever you want to call her, guard, forward, center, Steve, you name it, but one of the best in the entire US of A.
Yep, she is a McDonald's All-American, the first girls McDonald's All-American from South Dakota. She's also a 5-time state high jump champion as well. She was the Gatorade Player of the Year last year. She is 9th all-time in scoring, 5th all-time in rebounds, and 7th all-time in assists, and also 376 career blocks, which may be a state record as well. I mean, what else can you say? She's one of the best all-around athletes we've ever seen come down the turnpike in a while, and she is going to Nebraska to play basketball next year. But let's also talk about the supporting cast. Nedved at 7.5 points. Hayden Knutson at 5.5 points. Ruyer at 3 points. And coming off the bench, Hannah Holzbauer, a sophomore, averaging 5 points per game. I mean, obviously, Copel scores half of their points, and she's probably seen every junk defense ever designed in the game of basketball.
Yeah, it's going to be important that they get, you mentioned that supporting cast, it's going to be important that they get some production from them. And after just watching Machpelah and the pressure that they provide, Sioux Falls Christian, very similar. They're going to be up there, and Wagner's ability to beat that pressure and get Ashland Copel the basketball to be able to create opportunities for herself and her teammates is going to be very key tonight.
Yeah, a 5th all-time on the Wagner assist lead is Ashland Copel. She averages 4 blocks and 4 assists a game. She probably drove the bus over here and sells popcorn at halftime. That's how good of a player she is. It will be a treat to watch her. Well, we're just moments away from the introduction of the cheerleaders and the starting lineups. Our pregame ceremony is about to get underway, and we will turn things over to Ryan Neal. He is the public address announcer.
Good evening. The South Dakota High School Activities Association, along with its corporate partners, Sanford Health, Dakota Bank, Farmers Union Insurance, Billion Automotive, and the South Dakota Army National Guard, welcome you to this opening session of the State A Girls High School Basketball Tournament. This tournament is being conducted under the guidance and regulation of the South Dakota High School Activities Association for the enjoyment and benefit of high school students. Good sportsmanship is essential for the success of these programs. We hope you will enjoy the games and support your athletes in a positive and sportsmanlike manner. And now, let's meet the cheerleaders for both teams, starting with Sioux Falls Christian Chargers. Peyton Brower, Isabel Boltzma, Olivia Haugen, Grace Henkel, Kennedy Hoxie, Jordan Overman, Livia Roach, JC Schechter. Cheer coach is Sydney Adrian. And now the cheerleaders for the Wagner Red Raiders. Curtin Knutson, Araceli Orozco, Orlando Orozco, Amia Picard, Jacqueline Swellen, Kaylona Strickland, Elia Tibbetts, and Kaylee Zephyr. Cheer advisor is Michaela Ziegler. And now let's meet the starting lineups in alternating fashion. At one guard for the Chargers, 5'8" and a senior, number 1, Aubrey Verby. At a guard for the Red Raiders, 5'10" and a junior, number 10, Matea Breyer. At a forward for the Chargers, 6 foot and a junior, number 10, Emre. At a guard for the Red Raiders, 5'10" and a junior, number 14, Braxton Nedved. At a guard for the Chargers, 5'7" and a senior, number 12, Sydney Scott. At a forward for the Red Raiders, 6'3" and a junior, number 20, Raven Midriski. At a guard for the Chargers, 5'10" and a senior, number 22, Rude DeFortune. At a guard for the Red Raiders, 5'9" and a junior, number 23, Hayden Knudsen. At center for the Chargers, 6'2" and a junior, number 24, Lindsay Setzer. And at forward for the Red Raiders, 6'3" and a senior, number 24, Ashley Copel. Assistant coaches for the Chargers, Ryan Fetter, Zach Perry, Wananda Nieberger. Assistant coaches for the Red Raiders, Courtney Baumgart, Travis Halliday, and Tara Copel. Head coach of the Chargers, Mr. Dan DeYoung. And head coach of the Red Raiders, Mr. Michael Copel. Your officials for this contest, Genevieve Osborne, Drew Sweeter, and Donnie Kaiser. Red Raider.
All right, we're ready for our final game. Chargers in blue with the silver numbers and letters. The home whites with the red numbers and letters for Wagner. Madriski and Setzer in the center circle. 8 minutes on the clock, and here we go. And it's Wagner controlling the tip. They're double teaming Kopel right away. And here's the open shooter, doesn't take the shot. That was Nedved. Here's Kopel, chased by 2 defenders. Shot up, blocked by Setzer.
You can see Leslie Setzer and her rim protection ability covered ground in a hurry. You thought for a moment there that Nedved was going to be able to get into that pull-up and just close that gap quickly.
The ball, Skop gets it back. Into the paint, Dvorak spins, up and under, no, tapped it, but right to Kopel. Kopel behind the back, on the move. She'll drive, double team, triple team, throws it outside. Nedved, open, 3, no, long rebound, Skop.
Those are the opportunities that Ashlyn Kopel creates, and there's gonna be multiple blue jerseys around her all evening long. She's going to need her teammates to step up as Setzer a little off the mark with that mid-range catch and shoot.
Yeah, but Lem's got the rebound. Skop spins and travel. Turnover, Chargers. The other thing, Madriski in there at 6'3". That's a kind of a twin tower situation for Wagner defensively in the paint. Nedved is 5'10", so a lot of height for Wagner. Now they'll face the press.
And after seeing some groups that play mainly 5 guards, we got a host, as you mentioned, size and length, and Setzer and Lems and Kopel and Madriski.
On paper, height-wise, this is a really good matchup. And as far as, obviously skilled players too, you got Setzer matched up against Kopel. That's a good matchup.
Here they try to get Ruth Dvorak downhill, and there's...
That was Setzer with the bucket. First points of the game to the Chargers.
Yeah, she looked immediately over that left shoulder. Nifty footwork back to the right one and with the finish. And this is the ability to take care of the basketball and limit those turnovers against this Sioux Falls Chargers press.
These teams did not meet in the regular season. These teams did not meet in the tournament last year. Coming up on the 6-minute mark, just 2-0. Dvorak, jumper, yes.
And there, rather than ripping baseline, which you saw the possession before, came off that ball screen, and there Ruth Dvorak shows her ability to score from that middle level.
Falls Christian, obviously known for volleyball, and they've sent a lot of players on to the next level. They've sent quite a few basketball players on to the next level as well. Little fake there by Bruyere, can't get the shot off. They'll swing it around, shot, it's good. That's a 3, that's Nedved.
And Nedved shoots it just under 36% from 3, so more than capable out there. Shoots it at the highest percentage for anybody not named Ashlyn Kopel.
Kopel gets a rebound, stumbles a little bit, but comes out of the pack. She wants to attack before that defense can get set, and she's fouled at the top of the key. 5:05 left. Who collects that foul? It's going to be Van Beek. First foul of the game for either squad. Wagner plays it in from side court.
Yeah, and you can see Sydney Skop is the one that's never leaving 24, and then the other ones are helping.
Dvorak the steal, down low, nothing there, and we're going to have a jump ball. Possession arrow favors Sioux Falls Christian. Timeout on the court, 4:56 left, first quarter. We've got a good one. Sioux Falls Christian on top, 4-3. Back in a moment, right here on SDPB.
You live life on the move. While you determine what direction that may be, we're here to help along the way. So go. Go with values. Go with friends. Go with support. Go with convenience.
Good start to this game. The Chargers lead the Red Raiders 4-3. Along with Nate Kading, I'm Steve Toom. Great atmosphere here in Watertown for our final game of the day. Chargers play it in with Van Beek. And they'll throw it in, and it's stolen by Kopel. Kopel just has Setzer to beat, pulls up, 3-ball, no. Rebound to Voracek.
And those are the situations when she's one-on-one or in space.
But check that, Lem's got that last rebound. Voracek brought it up. Now here's Skop with the ball. Wants to drive, blocked. Setzer cleans it up. Setzer, you can tell by her footwork, she is a better player this year. She was pretty good last year, got the game-winning bucket. But she has really improved her game, and she's just a junior. Got to feel a few colleges are going to be knocking on her door, too.
No question, Steve. Yeah, she's really refined her as they leave. Yeah, anytime you're leaving Brewer open right there. They were playing the percentages, only a 25% free or a three-point shooter, but she made them pay.
We're tied at 6. Lems turns on Madriski, nice up and under. Emery Lems, she was a big part of that championship team last year.
Yeah, that Lems and Setzer combo, they can throw it inside to either one of them, and you can see that nice up and under right there from Emery Lems.
Another 3 launched, no good, and the rebound, Dvoracek on the run, chased by Kopel. Puts it up with the left hand and scores. Dvoracek with 4. Pass up ahead, Madriski with the ball. Back to Bruyere. 4-point lead, Chargers.
Yeah, and you can see that they're leaving at least one, kind of playing a little box zone, and then Sydney Skop just chest to chest on Kopel.
Dvoracek with the rebound. Pulls up, passes, Setzer, short. Gets her own rebound, puts it up, this time too strong. Madriski clears it away to Kopel. Chased by Dvoracek, gets around her, and we're gonna have a foul, blocking foul on the Chargers with 2:43 left.
And you see Ashton Kopel's ability to, normally when you talk about 6'3" players, they might not have the best ball skills in the world, and she's always been able to handle the ball at a, even with her size and length, at a high level.
Skop with the foul, her first, team second. Holzbauer in, and Bruyere out for Wagner. They'll fire a 3, good. Nedved connects.
Yeah, and right now Wagner 3 of 7 from 3, so they're taking advantage of the opportunities that they're receiving with the defensive decisions.
Setzer, it spun around the world a couple of times, but goes over Kopel, and now a steal by the Chargers. Lems outside, 3-pointer, Van Beek short. Rebound tipped, but to Setzer, and she's going to be called for traveling. Turnover, Chargers. Pressure paying off the opportunity, but the Chargers can't score as they'll get it ahead. To Holzbauer, number 12. Now back to Kopel.
Yeah, and putting different people with Sidney Skop on the bench. Now it's Emery Lem's responsibility to not leave 24.
And here's a three-pointer on the way, and it's good by Knutson. It's a three-point party for Wagner. And think about this, Kopel has yet to score.
Yeah, we mentioned how they're going to need to get some production from their supporting cast, and they're stepping up on the big stage.
Kopel, step back, three ball, no. And it goes out of bounds. That time she may have forced it. Some subs in.
I'm not sure if there's such a thing for her, Steve. I think if you're Coach Kopel over there and he's got mom and dad on staff, I'm pretty sure she can just do whatever she wants. No,
So,
I say that in jest.
Here's a three on the way, and that's good by number 12, Skop. Yeah, you would think Ashlyn Kopel's probably got the biggest green light in the history of South Dakota.
We've seen a lot of green lights with a lot of good scorers around here, and hers is just as bright as all the rest.
She's just being double teamed and triple teamed every time she's anywhere near the ball. Now Madriski, drop step, turn around, rolls off the rim, and Setzer clears it away with 40 seconds left.
Yeah, a little bit of a difference, about a 7-second difference between game and shot clock.
Swing it around, Setzer. She'll fire a three, but that's going to be short of the mark, and that will fall out of bounds. Oakley Hadler checking into the game, number 2 for the Chargers. Also number 11, McKinley Reitzma in the contest. So Setzer's going to get a break as Dvoracek checks in for the final 25 seconds. Skop going to the bench. Here's a pass up ahead. Holzbauer ahead. Madriski collects it, throws it up, got too far under the bucket, and it's pulled away by Reitzma. 10 seconds left, plenty of time. Dvoracek drives, misses, rebound, no good. Cleared away, 3 seconds left. Kopel lost the handle. It'll go out of bounds as time expires. Sioux Falls Christian, the defending champs, ahead 15-12 over Wagner after 1 period of play. Back in a moment on SDPB.
It's not just about making a living. It's about upholding a way of life. We are connected to this land, committed to the future. Bank West.
Creating a legacy means different things to everyone. For us, it's about family, watching my daughter follow in my footsteps, passing the farm under her, and working side by side every day. It's about building something that lasts. Agtegra Cooperative has been by our side through it all, supporting us from one generation to the next. Agtegra Cooperative, legacy rich, future focused for generations to come.
One period in the books at Sioux Falls Christian ahead of Wagner, 15-12. Steve Toom, he's Nate Kading. Great to have you here in Watertown for Class A girls basketball. Wagner gets the basketball to start this second period of play, and Kopel gets the inbounds pass.
And so far you're seeing in that first quarter 4 offensive rebounds for the Chargers and none so far for Wagner.
There's Nedved with the ball up top. Holzbauer gives way to Bruyere, who's back into the game. Holzbauer drives, had an opportunity, passed it by, a 3 on the way, and it's good. From the corner, that's Nedved. She's got 9, the top scorer for either squad.
5 of 10 so far from 3. Every one of their buckets right now.
In and out on the shot by Dvoracek. Rebound Kopel. Kopel on the drive. Pull up. Yes, he's into the scoring column.
And there's just not much you can do about that.
Nope.
Right over the top of Emery Lems, who's got some size and some athleticism herself, just not 6'3", and right over the top with that stop and pop pull up.
Setzer on the move, spins, fade away, got it. Old school fade away.
And you gotta like the mentality of Leslie Setzer, that's what they like to do, throw it inside, and she's went right at Ashley Kopel a couple different times.
Double dribble, turnover Wagner. That's the kind of error they cannot afford against a team like Sioux Falls Christian. As heading to the bench was Neely Stanford, who was into the game momentarily. Scott back in. And the Chargers play it in from side court. We're tied at 17. Here's Setzer up top. Puts it on the floor, goes at Kopel again, missed that one. Rebound pulled down by Wagner.
And Setzer knows that Ashley Kopel is not going to get herself in foul trouble. So she's very careful on how she's defending. She's not going to break that plane of verticality. So Setzer's been able to go up over the top of her a few different times.
And Wagner will play it in. Looks like Kopel is going to throw it in. 6:20 left. And they'll throw it in to Nedved. Bruyere had a shot, passed it by. 20 on the shot clock. Kopel's going to set a screen. Up top, they find Holzbauer open for the mid-range J, and that's good. And Holzbauer averages 5 points a game. If she can find that mid-range jumper and knock a few down, that will change things defensively for the Chargers. And here's a near steal. They almost made there by Knutson. Setzer works against Kopel at the left hand. No, and Kopel clears it away. Goes behind the back. Again, through the paint, contact, throws it up, no shot, foul on the floor, blocking foul.
You see that change of direction ability right there from Ashton Kopel. Ability to start and stop and handle that thing and get it exactly where she needs. And they've used her as a screener a couple times. Anytime you're getting face guarded, you use her as a screener. We saw it on that last possession. They created an advantage. Then they swung it all the way around to Holzbauer, who knocked that mid-range J down.
Scott got the foul, her second. Hadler in to replace her. Here's the three, Bruyere, no, off the back paddle, and the rebound pulled down by the Chargers and Dvoracek. 5:20 and counting here until halftime. Outside, Van Beek will handle it. Dvoracek looked for the handoff, wasn't there. Hadler, the ball up.
And Wagner just been man-to-man D, moving with their person. Nice flash there by Ruth Dvoracek.
She's got 6. Smooth looking jump shot there. Kopel gets around Dvoracek. And it goes into the corner now. Wagner being patient. Kopel gets it. Here's the double team. She'll move to the baseline. Pull up, Jay falls. Wow. Ate a lot of iron, but it went in.
The difficulty of that shot right there. Driving to her left, high up over the top, and then
that one's going to go out of bounds. Timeout on the court, 4:18 left to go, second quarter. 21-19, Wagner on top. Back in a moment right here on SDPB.
For your little ones and your biggest joys. Or your forever friends. And your fur kids too. For your better half. Or your all-time bestie. For the reasons you smile, there's coverage. With dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of South Dakota and Delta Vision.
Get a look at some of the fans here in Watertown at the Civic Arena. Our last game of the day features Wagner against Sioux Falls Christian. Red Raiders on top, 21-19. He's Nate Kading. I'm Steve Toom. And boy, this one so far has been a dandy. I like what we're seeing on the court for both teams.
After seeing a few games here earlier today where teams have struggled shooting the basketball from the floor a little bit, Wagner right now 8 of 17 for 47%. Sioux Falls Christian 9 of 22 for 41%. Both these teams have been very, and that's one that you just don't love if you're Coach Kopel over there.
Coming out of a timeout, turn the ball over, and Dvorak misses. Lems with the rebound. She'll throw it outside. Van Beek will reset. Lems drives, tries to get around Madriski, puts up a shot, gets her own rebound, and that was kicked by Kopel out of bounds. It'll stay with the Chargers.
And you can just see the difficulty that Sioux Falls Christian with Lems and Setzer, they don't oftentimes see Madriski and Kopel defensively, so they've challenged some things and made some of those finishes more difficult than they probably are used to.
Van Beek alone, a three, no. Wrong rebound to Madriski. Kopel moves into the front court, looking for a screen. Gives the ball up. It's Nedved in the corner, or Knutson rather. Here's the double team on Kopel up top. Weaves around a couple of defenders, and she was fouled near the head of the lane.
Yeah, there they wanted to get her a touch, set that on-ball screen, and three bodies around her. They clip Neely Sanford with the screen and creates just enough space for her to get downhill.
Stanford, her first foul, team's second. Throw it to the corner, wide open. Bruyere misses the three, and the rebound. Good box out there by Lems. Setzer went over her head, and Dvorak knew it the moment she released the ball.
She had her if it was just a dribble sooner. I think by the time she needed to make that pass, there was defender had closed the gap and they were running out of runway there. And that's something that all these bigs, whether it's Setzer, Lems, Kopel, they get up and down the floor very well.
Near steal in the backcourt, and there's Van Beek to take it away. Van Beek will set it up. That's Hadler with the drive. Give it to Setzer. Looking to drive. Got it. What great speed by Setzer.
Yeah, you see that versatility right there from Leslie Setzer. Going to that non-dominant hand. Doesn't matter. Right over the top of Ashton Kopel.
I think they're going to get her for travel. Turnover, Wagner. We're tied at 21 between Wagner and Sioux Falls Christian. It's been the three-pointer so far. The secret sauce for Wagner. Hadler, Madriski comes out to guard her.
See Wagner switching to a little 2-3 zone action.
And there's Madriski looking to play college volleyball sometime in the future. Hasn't committed anywhere yet. Here's Kopel, three short, sets a rebound. She's on the move. 3-on-2. Hadler doesn't have the three. Van Beek will slow it down.
And Sioux Falls Christian right now only 1 of 7 from three, and they've had some decent looks, and there's certain players Well, right now, Wagner's in that zone, as I mentioned, but even when they were playing man-to-man, there were certain players that they were comfortable playing off of, trying to plug that inside.
Oh, a near steal by number 23, Knutson. And here comes a sub in. That is Reitzma to replace Van Beek for the Chargers.
Only 7 on the shot clock right now. Chargers are going to have to go quick with some action.
Hadler, she'll fire a 3. It's no good. Rebound tipped out of bounds. Who touched it last? We're going to say Wagner. It stays with the Chargers.
And the offensive glass has been friendly to the Chargers. 6 offense, or 7, I make that 7 offensive rebounds. Wagner held to 0 right now.
And we're going to have a whistle against Sioux Falls Christian.
I think they got her for 3 seconds in the lane.
That doesn't get called very often anymore.
That does not. I've said this on the air a few times. It's the Rick Majerus there, Steve. Majerus was always okay with at least 1 3-second a game. Means his players were posting up hard and aggressive.
Here's Van Beek with the ball. My buddy John Gaskins always says he hears that cry from the crowd more than anyone. 3 seconds. There's a shot, no good. Bounced off the rim. And here comes Kopel the other way. From the corner, a 3, no. Rebound the Chargers off the miss by Nedved.
The offenses have dried up here. Chargers only 1 of their last 7. Wagner hasn't scored in over 3 minutes.
But we're still tied with under a minute to go here in quarter number 2. Sets her in the high post, spins on Kopel, and a blocking foul as Kopel hit the deck. That'll be her first. Believe it or not, I think that's the first foul against Wagner, at least the first one I've got chalked in my book. Yeah, that's the first foul against Wagner.
Yeah, not super. I mean, they've done a nice job of not being undisciplined with any actions, and they got quite a bit of a different defensive style than the Chargers or Machpialuta that's flying around, being super aggressive, a little bit more passive. And there they find McKinley Reitzma with that soft floater over the top.
Shot clock is off, and the lead is 2 for the Chargers. Kopel gets the inbounds. She's the only senior on the roster for Wagner. She'll get the ball back and just across the timeline. They'll hold for the final opportunity. Kopel looking back to the bench for a play. She'll be double teamed. Tries to get loose. 9 seconds left. Madriski posting up, turns, block. Kopel picks up the loose ball, and she's going to be fouled as she hits the deck again. With 3.7 seconds left.
Kopel smartly there crashed right at that offensive glass. And the one thing I mentioned it to start off the broadcast, and when you foul her, shoots almost 90% from the foul line. So it's as good as 2 points when she winds there.
Yeah, Setzer got the foul, her first, and Kopel makes the first of 2. Kopel 87% on the season, and she's always been a good free throw shooter. And got them both, and we're tied. And here comes the full court pressure. Dvoracek, can she get a shot off from half court? She launches, too strong off the window. We're done with the first half, and it has been everything we anticipated. Tied at 23 between Wagner and Sioux Falls Christian. Back with our halftime in a moment, right here on SDPB 3.
You kept us fed through tough times. And despite rising business costs, you keep doing what you love because you know you're making a difference. No matter the challenges, we're here to help you navigate the highs and lows to grow your business, to improve your land, or to buy new equipment. We all rely on you. and we're just happy to return the favor. Go with Allies. Go with trust. Go with Dakota Bank.
Nothing has embodied the American spirit like the family farmer. Year after year, they continue to work the land and plant their crops. Through droughts, floods, and uncertain markets, they keep that spirit alive with another crop harvested for the next generation. And for that, we tip our hats to them. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
Bioethanol supplies more than just energy. It creates jobs in rural communities. It drives demand for local corn. It provides opportunities for family farms to thrive. To ensure agriculture plays a leading role in the efforts to decarbonize and transition energy, bioethanol remains at the forefront of a pursuit for a cleaner, brighter future for all Americans. Learn how at sdethanol.com.
At Southeast Technical College, you won't just study for a career, you'll live it. Training in classrooms that look, feel, and operate just like the real world. Because the best way to do what you learn is to learn by doing. Get your degree, get to work at Southeast Technical College.
Tied at 23 here at the break. Along with Nate Kading, I'm Steve Toom. We got Wagner and Sioux Falls Christian in our final game of the day. We've been entertained by the Millbank High School all day, and we're going to honor them right now.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to direct your attention to the area in front of the band. The tournament band that has been playing for today's session of the state basketball tournament is from Millbank High School under the direction of Susan Carroll. In appreciation for the fine music the band has provided during the games, Dan Swartos, Executive Director of the South Dakota High School Activities Association, is now presenting to Susan Carroll, Director of the Millbank High School Band, a plaque to commemorate the day.
Congratulations, Millbank High School Band. It is always an honor to be selected to play at a state tournament, and they have done a very, very fine job today. And that also reminds me, I want to tell you, in addition to sports, we also cover the fine arts here on SDPB. All-State Chorus and Orchestra. We do that in the fall, and coming up here we'll have All-State Band, and then after that All-State Jazz Band coming up as well. So look out for those programs. All-State Band, that's coming your way. Live stream in March, and then we'll air it on April 25th at 8 o'clock Central Time as we will edit together a nice program for you and air that in primetime television on a Saturday night in April. And then All-State Jazz Band will be coming your way primetime on television in the month of May.
That's big time right there, Steve. You won't find me broadcasting that because my musical career ended in about 7th grade when my band director said, no, that's awesome how well-rounded a lot of these individuals are.
And a lot of these athletes also participate in band and in school plays and some other stuff. You especially see that in the small towns, and we're always pleased to highlight the artistic talents of our young people here in the state of South Dakota. This weekend it is girls basketball. This is our 4th game of the day here on SDPB3, and at the break we've had a tandem between Wagner and Sioux Falls Christian. Let's check out some of the highlights if we can from that first half of play, as this game has just gone back and forth. Neither team able to really pull away from each other, and it was Leslie Setzer with an impressive first half with 10 points.
Yeah, and she's went right at the size of Kopel, and Madriski inside, 5 of 11 from the floor. You mentioned it, 10 points. They've got some production and chipped in from a couple other players. Ruth Dvorak, 6. Sydney Scott, 1 made 3, and then a couple others with 2.
There's the pass to the corner and the 3 ball up. That inbounds pass initiated by Kopel. Another 3 from the perimeter by Wagner.
And we talked about that this Wagner team was going to need to get scoring punch from some of the people and athletes not named Ashton Kopel, and they've done just that with Braxton Nedved having 9. Matea Breuer stepped up, hit a big 3. Hayden Knutson, same thing. Hannah Holzbauer with 2. When you get a game like this, a little bit lower scoring, every single point and bucket count.
Yeah, this is a game that who will make fewer mistakes in the second half. That may be the key. We'll examine more of the stats and talk about the second half when we come back after this timeout. You're watching Class A girls basketball. This is SDPB 3.
Reading opens every door to learning, opportunity, and understanding. The South Dakota Department of Education is strengthening literacy outcomes for students across our state, helping educators connect classroom instruction to the science of how children learn to read and write. Through professional support and shared resources, schools are building strong foundation in literacy for every learner. South Dakota Department of Education, learning, leadership, service.
What does primary care mean to us? At Sanford Health, it means being there when and where you need it most. It means building a relationship, because when a provider really knows you, they can deliver the best care for every aspect of your health and your life. So what does primary care mean for you? It means understanding your health for today and for where you're headed next. It means a lifetime of care for a lifetime of you.
South Dakota, a state shaped by its people. It's more than a place, it's opportunity waiting to be realized. At South Dakota State University, opportunity is turned into progress. Through research, education, and a community that inspires, SDSU drives the future of this state. We're not just here, we're taking action with purpose, trust, and impact. This is SD State.
Protecting crops. Agronomy Plus in Mitchell, Rock Creek in Howard, and Valley Station in Armour provide agronomy services, fertilizer products, and crop analysis systems, including Agronomy 365. This system helps manage your field's performance, supporting small-town communities while hiring and training local youth. Agronomy Plus in Mitchell, Rock Creek in Howard, and Valley Station in Armour, serving area producers and their communities.
From the Watertown Civic Arena, along with Nate Kading, I'm Steve Toom. We're wrapping up halftime here of our final game of the day. Wagner and Sioux Falls Christian tied at 23. And the shooting stats, pretty even. 40% for Wagner, 35% for the Chargers. But Wagner, the big advantage from beyond the arc.
And we talked about it. They're alternative players, not Ashley Kopel. When you put the attention, as much as Sioux Falls Christian is on Kopel with 2-3 bodies around him, there's going to be opportunities and options for those others, and they've really stepped up in the first half. And something to watch here in the second. Can they continue to shoot the basketball at that clip? 36% from 3, 5 of 14. On the other side, Sioux Falls Christian, 7 offensive rebounds, has been a big key for them being able to get up 11 more shots than Wagner did in that first half.
Yeah, Wagner with no offensive rebounds in that first half. Points in the paint, 16-2, advantage Chargers. So Wagner living on the perimeter for the most part in that first half. Sioux Falls Christian attacking those twin towers of Kopel and Madriski. Both of the players at 6'3", but they've been taking it inside time and again.
I don't know how often that this Wagner team gets in a situation where they get outscored in the paint, 16-2, with Ashley Kopel and Madriski, how effective they are inside, and in Kopel's case, really all over the court.
Both of these teams did lose to Lennox during the regular season. Wagner, their only loss to Elk Point Jefferson as we are underway. Third quarter of play. The winner gets Makpia Luta tomorrow night in the semifinals. 3 on the way from the corner is short. High rebound collected by Kopel. She wants to run. Long pass up ahead. Bruyere has to stop because Setzer was there. And now they'll feed it outside. Knutson short on the 3. Fighting for the rebound, Madriski, but Setzer has it. She's on the move, one-on-one against Kopel, but gives it up to Scott. Back to Setzer. Turns around a teammate and scores.
Nice interior pass there by Sydney Scott. The baseline drive under control, and sometimes when you find yourself getting into that 6 to 8 foot catch and shoot, those could be awkward finishes, and Setzer, no problem.
Setzer's footwork so impressive.
Yeah, and you said it earlier, Steve. She's just a player that has continuously got better and better, has played varsity since she was actually over at Harrisburg High School, I believe, her freshman year, and then on to Sioux Falls Christian the last 2.
Kopel on the perimeter. Always 2 blue jerseys around her every time she touches the ball, sometimes 3. Bruyere has to give it up. Knutson drifts to her left. Bruyere 5 on the shot clock. She'll have to shoot it. A 3, it's no good, and Setzer with the rebound. Setzer moving up court, now away to Dvoracek. Dvoracek pretty good handles for her size at 6 foot.
Yeah, and you can see Wagner at the end of the first, and then so far to start off this third stanza, they're staying with that 2-3 zone, trying to match bodies when they can.
Oh, nice pass. Dvoracek missed the easy one. Kopel the rebound. And there's a shot from the corner that's off the mark by Nedved, and here come the Chargers. Scott doesn't have the number. She'll slow it down. 6 minutes to go, quarter number 3. Chargers up by 2.
And you can see they X those inside players, and here's Emery Lems. Nice aggressive take, just too strong.
That was a good box out by Knutson. Now Kopel slowly into the front court. She wants it back, gets it in the corner. 3 jerseys eyeballing her. Gets it back up top. Pulls up, got it, and the foul.
And you can see with her physical maturation, she's just able now, and that was something even 2 years ago. She probably wasn't quite getting that same level of elevation off the contact, and she's always been a well put together athlete. And certainly when you win, what was it, 5 state high jump championships in a row, but I've watched her for a long time. She's more effective in those situations, especially through the contact.
In and out, missed the free throw. We're still tied at 25. Dvoracek moves up court. Van Beek will drive the baseline and lost the handle. Dvoracek picks it out on the left perimeter. Bounce pass, Van Beek off the window, her first points of the night.
It's a nice corner back cut. You're going to see that a lot off those middle drives, and finished it right even with Kopel lurking in the background.
That was Holzbauer, had it blocked, and it's going to go out of bounds to Wagner. Timeout on the court. Sioux Falls Christian up by 2. Back in a moment right here on SDPB.
Your Great Plains Case IH dealers know that hard work starts early, in the field and on the field or the court. Dedication, teamwork, pride. The values driving farmers also power South Dakota athletes. Growing crops or growing champions, it takes the same drive to succeed. Your local Great Plains Case IH dealers know the future is built by showing up day after day, ready to work, ready to win. Great Plains Case IH dealers, supporting schools, athletes, and the communities we grow.
4:49 left, third quarter. Sioux Falls Christian on top of Wagner, 27-25. I'm Steve Toom. He's Nate Kading. Wagner will play it in after the timeout. Kopel will trigger it in. Corner, three-pointer on the way. It's going to be short. New player in the game is Mila Hopkins. And the rebound to the Chargers. Dvorak looking to drive, pulls up at the free throw line, bounce pass into the paint, saved by Van Beek. She's all alone in the corner, misses the three. Long rebound, collected, bumped, out of bounds. It's going to Wagner.
And Aubrey Van Beek is capable from three, 33% on the year.
A little pressure, it's been applied most of the game, but Wagner will break it. Hopkins fires another three, that one's short of the mark again. Pulling down the rebound, Stanford.
And Wagner's really done a pretty good job of, Sioux Falls Christian is known for that pressure.
Blocking foul, Kopel tried to draw the charge, instead gets her second personal foul.
Yeah, she's had that situation twice here tonight, and she just hasn't quite been able to get in legal guarding position to be able to take that drive right in the chest. Her body's always turning when she attempts to do so.
And she's the only player that's collected a foul tonight for Wagner. Trying to go inside, they'll go to the corner instead in Van Beek. They do have a fresh shot clock. Ball's loose in the paint. Oh, look out. Dvorak and Kopel tied up. And we're going to have a jump ball. Possession arrow, Wagner. .355 left. The pressure applied by the Chargers again.
Yeah, and as I was saying, that the Wagner group has done a pretty good job against this pressure. Only still got single-digit turnovers, and here they try to come when they beat that timeline.
Kopel a three. It's going to be off the mark, but the rebound pulled down by Wagner. Holzbauer gives way. It's Knutson with the ball temporarily, and here's Nedved a three, and it's good. She's got a dozen.
That was a great skip pass there by Hayden Knutson. And Nedved with her fourth three of the game.
Oh, and Kopel, I think, just got her third foul. Trying to block that pass. That is critical with 3:17 left to go. Ashlyn Kopel just got her third foul.
Yeah, and she's a player that we've seen it a few different times today with the coaches at this stage of the season. You're going to roll with them and until they tell you that they can no longer be out there.
They'll go to the corner, no shot there. Now the jumper put up by number 11 Reitzma, no good. Rebound to Wagner. Coming up on the 3-minute mark. Hands off to Kopel. Kopel double teamed, and here's Holzbauer down the lane, and she's going to get called for traveling. Turnover, Wagner.
She wasn't exactly sure what to do with that. She was caught in between going up and finishing it or kicking it to her teammate that was on that right wing. Yeah, and after having a kind of a free-flowing first quarter, Steve, Sioux Falls Christian scored 15, Wagner 12. The offenses have been a little bit harder to come by here in the last two quarters.
Yep, Wagner scored 5 points, Chargers only 4. Now they'll go down to Setzer, up and in. Kept the ball over her head. She has 14 points now.
And Setzer knows that Kopel is in foul trouble, so smartly just attacked right at her.
Pass collected by Knutson. Gets it back. Now Holzbauer with it. Holzbauer, a key member of that volleyball team. Now they'll go into the paint. Outside, here's a wide open shooter. In and out on the three was Knutson. Rebound to the Chargers, under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. We've got a 1-point game.
Breuer, Knutson, and Nedved have been big just with even their ability and their confidence to go. And there's a nice lefty finish there by Stanford.
Makes the lead 3 points. Pulls Bauer into the front court, doesn't have the numbers, waits for Kopel. Kopel on the move, and she is going to be fouled.
And what I was saying before, that those three generally role players for them, capable, you know, averaging right in between that 8 and 3 or 4 point mark, but just understanding that they're not going to be a one-dimensional outfit, and that you need to at least respect them, and they've been big on keeping this game where it is when Ashton Kopel only has 8 points.
Stanford got that last foul, her second. Fresh shot clock for Wagner. And here comes a drive by Nedved. The short jumper is good by Holzbauer.
She had a similar one in that first half on the right baseline.
It's a 1-point game as we come up on the 1 minute mark here in quarter number 3. Setzer down low, works. And that was going to be a foul on Kopel, and that's her 4th.
And that was probably the easiest one of all of them, as tries to go up and block and gets Setzer right on the arm.
Believe it or not, Wagner has one player with 4 fouls, no fouls on anybody else on the team. As Setzer connects on the free throw, she's a 68% free throw shooter.
And it's definitely not the one that you want to have 4 on Steve.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever called a game where one player at near the end of the third quarter has all the fouls on a team. Free throw no good, and the rebound comes down to Wagner, but then the travel call and gives it back to Sioux Falls Christian. And Kopel's going to stay out there with the 4 fouls. You wonder if they maybe switch up defensively, put a different player on Setzer. She'll put up the short jumper. It's no good. Tipped around, and it's picked up by Lems. Dvorak, 3, yes.
It's a great hustle play there by Emery Lems, and finds Ruth Dvorak for that wide open catch and shoot 3.
And they go back and forth. A nice unselfish play as Van Beek and Dvorak play catch under the bucket. And just like that, the lead's 7. Kopel through traffic is going to be fouled. And I think they're going to catch Stanford with the foul. Not in the act of shooting with 19 seconds left.
Yeah, nice 6-0 run here from the Chargers, and biggest lead of the game, I believe, Steve.
Yes. This has been a nip-tuck affair the whole time as Stanford checks out. We're going to bring Hadler back into the game. Shot clock is off. Down low, Holzbauer, no foul. 2 free throws coming up.
And the sophomore Holzbauer, we talked about it. 2 nice catch and shoot jumpers here so far tonight, and they're hard cut, and we'll see if she can tighten this ball game up.
On the year, 67% for Holzbauer, standout volleyball player. Good on the first of 2. Wagner needed that free throw, break up that run.
Yeah, and they're gonna take Kopel off the court here for this last defensive possession.
Yep, no surprise there. Free throw mitts, Setzer up high for the rebound. Shot clock off. Van Beek across the timeline. Goes to the corner, gets it back. Now, Lems scores. And that's how we will end the third period of play. A nice run by Sioux Falls Christian. They're up 39-31 over Wagner, heading for the fourth quarter. First a timeout right here on SDPB.
Our Peterson Farm seed reps, real-life seed heroes, well, they've been known to go the extra mile, literally thousands of extra miles every year. And when they're not driving gravel roads, they're out walking fields and sampling soil. When time is the enemy, they're there to save what's left of the day. Are all Peterson Farm seed reps seed heroes? I guess that's a yes. Peterson Farm Seed, we're that kind of seed company.
Powering the possibilities of tomorrow starts today. For our homes, our farms, our businesses. That's why our Touchstone Energy Cooperative continually plans for the future by utilizing and sourcing safe, reliable power for the next generation. So we can power possibilities long into the future. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, powering possibilities.
Back for the fourth quarter of our last quarterfinal game of the day. Sioux Falls Christian ahead of Wagner, 39-31. He's Nate Kading. I'm Steve Toom. And all eyes on number 24 for Wagner. She is in foul trouble. 4 fouls. No other player for Wagner has any fouls at all.
And 24 points in the paint for the Chargers. That's what they do. Only attempted 12 three-pointers here so far tonight.
Dvorak with the hustle play, saves it out of bounds, throws it off a Wagner player, and it'll stay with the Chargers. Wagner last year finished 7th place. Sioux Falls Christian won the title last year. Here's Dvorak, yes! That gives her a dozen. And the lead is 11.
Dvorak responsible for 2 out of the 3 made threes now. And this is the first time all night we've had this type of separation. And important pull-up jumper there for Ashlyn Copel.
Ashlyn Copel with the bucket and a full timeout on the floor. We'll step away for a moment right here on SDPB 3.
At Muth Electric, we don't just power projects, we empower people. We invest in training, mentorship, and career development opportunities at every level. Because strong careers build strong communities. Your future is bright with Muth Electric. Muth Electric now hiring.
Since 1882, we've raised 5 generations of hardworking Americans on this land. Our great-great-grandfather believed in something simple: respect the land and it will provide. Anthem Oats, grown by us, shared with you.
Sioux Falls Christian with the lead. 42-33 is our score. Along with Nate Kading, I'm Steve Toom. Great to have you here in Watertown on a Thursday night. Day 1 of the Class A girls basketball tournament. Sioux Falls Christian, the defending champs, come in as the 6th seed. They've got the lead on Wagner here of 9 points, and they've got the ball. Scott back into the game, sets her, drives, elevates, got it. Boy, that's tough to stop when she puts that ball way over her head when she shoots it.
Yeah, and they've shifted Ashlyn Copel rather than anchoring the zone right in front of the basket, shifted her off to the left, and their Setzer just went right at Madriski.
Pass down low, Holzbauer has been big off the bench. 7 points on a nice pass by Copel. Still a 9-point edge for Sioux Falls Christian. Wagner needs some defensive stops. Sioux Falls Christian would like an efficient offense, and Dvorak misses it, but the rebound to Lems. And she'll reset with Van Beek. Gets it back, drives on Madriski, reverse layup, got it, high off the window.
And that was their 10th offensive rebound right there. Second chance opportunities, and we've seen that baseline attack out of Lems a few different times.
That shot was blocked, but saved to Kopel. She'll pass. Here's Knutson. Short on the three, but it rolls in anyway. Oh my goodness. Talk about the iron being kind. And a quick timeout has been called by Wagner. Here with 6:10 left to go. And watch this shot from Knutson as that went just hung on the rim. I thought it was short, but it just crawled over the rim.
And the Red Raiders that badly needed that one to cut this game back to 8 points. And the Wagner team is getting some offense here. They're just struggling being able to string stops together. They've gotten a stop here or there, but anytime you dig yourself a hole like they have, you got to be able to string a couple stops together, get quality offensive possessions, and see if you can make this a lead and a deficit down the stretch where you want it. And that always is, to me, like if you make 2 possession games, anything over that, it really puts some good game pressure on the opponent. But when you're stretched out to 8, 9, or 10 or beyond, you just don't put that same pressure on them.
Points in the paint, 28-8 advantage, Chargers. Offensive rebounds on the night, 10-2 advantage, Sioux Falls Christian. They have really dominated the paint tonight. And they've drawn 4 fouls on Ashlyn Kopel.
Yeah, and it's the recipe of what they do. They want the basketball inside, and when they do, they can play inside out to certain individuals. But you notice where Lems and Setzer are pretty much the entire game on the left block and on the right block.
Oh, that was so close to a foul. Coach DeYoung can't believe it. And that would have been the 5th on Kopel. Setzer somehow collects it. Works against Madriski off the window, too strong. Rebound fought for, and the bucket inside by Dvoracek. And the lead is 10. Kopel in the open court, fakes the 3. And here's Holzbauer knocking down the 3. Where would Wagner be without Hannah Holzbauer? She has
shooting
10
the basketball,
points.
yeah, extremely confidently. Only came into the game averaging right at 5 a game.
The lead is 7. Wagner needs a stop, but Dvoracek says, no, I'm going to score, and she does. She has had a stellar game.
And Ashlyn Kopel right there didn't even want to get near Ruth Dvoracek.
Oh, over the head of Kopel and stolen away by Setzer. 2-on-2. And I think we're going to have an offensive foul on Setzer, and that is her 2nd. Timeout on the court. We'll take a break. Sioux Falls Christian up by 9. Back with more in a moment. You're watching the Girls Class A Basketball Tournament. This is SDPB 3.
Is it the competition that keeps bringing you back? The long-standing rivalries? Or is it seeing friends again and cheering on your favorite team? At First Dakota, we're here for all of it. We appreciate the fans, the players, the coaches and officials, the concessions crew. The shared community experience is part of what makes life here great. And we're here for all of it. See you at the game.
Lake Area Technical College provides hands-on learning and practical experience in real-world environments. Prepare for a career right out of school from the moment you step on campus for an education that can really be put to work. Lake Area Tech is the start of something new.
I can't imagine being anything other than a nurse. I'm also much more than a nurse. And working at Avera lets me find balance between the career that called me and a life that fulfills me.
Get a look at some of the fans here in Watertown. Class A basketball. Some of the Wagner fans there. They're going to have to yell really loud to inspire their team. They're down by 9 with 4:51 left to go in regulation. He's Nate Kading. I'm Steve Toom. Great to have you along for the ride on a Thursday night here in Watertown for Class A girls basketball. Out of the timeout, Wagner has the ball. They'll get it in, Madriski. And we're going to have, Madriski, I think, was standing on the sideline, out of bounds.
Yeah, tough turnover there coming out of the timeout. And you look at Wagner, they've held Ashland Copel to 10 points, season average at 28. They've had some others step up, but they really just haven't been able to stop the Sioux Falls Christian team.
Scott with the drive, and again, more points in the paint for Sioux Falls Christian.
Yeah, allowing them to shoot nearly 50% from the floor.
And here's a steal, Van Beek, and she has a blocking foul as she just went right into the defender, threw it up, but the defender not in position. We'll watch it again. And that was going to be number 14, Nedved, and believe it or not, that is the first foul on Wagner on a player not named Ashland Copel. And it took till 4:28 in the fourth period to do it.
Yeah, I think they had that on the floor before Aubrey Van Beek was going up with that finish.
So it will not be free throws. It will be played in from out of bounds. Second team foul on Wagner. And a fresh shot clock to work with for the Chargers. Tipped and stolen away by Wagner. It's Nedved who has it. Looking for Copel. She had a wide open shot, didn't see it. And an entry pass off the mark, turnover, Wagner.
And we talked about it for a large part of this game early on. Did a good job of valuing the basketball, and you feel like they've just been worn down a little bit by the Sioux Falls Christian team, who's a little bit deeper than they are.
Skop missed it. Rebound fought for. I think we're going to have a jump ball. And we do. Possession arrow Wagner. 4:03 left. Wagner down by 11. And this is at the point of the game where Wagner really can't have too many more empty trips down the floor.
Yeah, no question. Time is of the essence, and how you're operating both offensively and defensively. Got to have that urgency.
And Copel lost the ball, and a quick timeout called by Sioux Falls Christian in order to maintain the possession with 3:54 left to go in regulation. Everything going the way of Sioux Falls Christian right now.
And Coach DeYoung was all over that one. A heady timeout there to be able to keep the possession. And you mentioned it, clock is always in your favor in these situations. So you want to be able to marry up, eating some of that time, but also you don't want to just go in complete stall mode and lose everything that you've done. And that's just really been going inside to the likes of Setzer and Lems, and Ruth Dvorak's been huge as well with 16.
Teams will break the huddle here after the 30-second timeout. And yeah, Wagner needs some defensive stops, and they need to have solid possessions on offense. Meanwhile, Sioux Falls Christian, well, they're holding all the aces at the moment, and they can afford to burn 25-30 seconds off that shot clock before they even attempt it. We'll see if they do that against that Wagner zone.
And you gotta love as they find Lems again. Goodness, that's 21 assists on the night, and that's always, you got to understand the scorekeeper and whatnot, but they've really moved the basketball to the spots that you need it, and capitalized and finished a bunch of plays in the paint.
That turnover as Madriski had it go off her hands out of bounds into the scores table. And Sioux Falls Christian here up by 13 with less than 3.5 to go, and Wagner's offense has been stalled. 6 turnovers in the last minute 51. Lems kicks it outside. They swing it around. Here's a 3. No good, but Setzer collects the rebound. Passes down low, and that was Stanford that couldn't handle it. It goes out of bounds to Wagner. Boy, if that 3 would have gone in, Nate, that could have been the dagger.
Yeah, they would have been, some fans might have been walking for the exit at that point. Most of them have stuck around here with us.
Van Beek tips it away, but into the hands of Kopel, who maneuvers up court, has 3 jerseys around her. Pull up Jay, no good. But Madriski gets the rebound, and that'll be a jump ball. And the possession arrow favors the Chargers. At the moment, we're under 3 minutes to go. Wagner, a scoring drought of 2 minutes, 26 seconds. Their offense has just dried up at the worst possible time.
Yeah, after a back and forth battle for much of this game, there was a little separation created in that end of the third, and it's continued on.
Setzer in the paint, turn around, travel. Yeah, Sioux Falls Christian outscored Wagner 16-8 in that critical third quarter, and they've outscored them 15-10 here in this fourth quarter. And the pressure has been relentless, and Kopel has to go up high to get that one. And she'll be fouled in the back court. And that will be Aubrey Van Beek, and that is her third. Team second foul. And with only 2:40 left, Wagner does not have too many opportunities, one would think, left. And this pressure just taking time off the clock.
And you got to give them a lot of credit for just making it really difficult on number 24.
That one, oh, in and out, and that may be a perfect description of the night here, especially the second half for Wagner. That was halfway down and fell out.
I think the one thing in tonight's game that probably didn't happen to this Wagner group a bunch is they went, and that's the thing with Ashley Kopel. Not only does she affect the game offensively by scoring and creating for her teammates as she knocks down the free throw, but she also really impacts it defensively. You talked about having 300+ block shots in her career. And Sioux Falls Christian didn't shy away from the paint at all with 30+ point paints, and in fact, they went right at her, getting her in foul trouble and honestly probably wearing on her fatigue-wise.
Yeah. And we're going to have, I believe, a timeout called here by Sioux Falls Christian with 2:21 left, and the lead is 11 for the Chargers. Well, we got a moment here. I'd like to talk to you about Game Time. You know, SDP covers high school sports like never before with our new show, Game Time. Jason Andera and Nate Weck deliver the headlines, the game changers, and the top tilts each week. You can find Game Time on our YouTube channel, sdpb.org, or you can find it on SDPB1 on television Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock Central, 9 Mountain Time throughout the football and basketball seasons. Game Time is also available as a podcast on Apple and Spotify. Like, subscribe, and give it a 5-star review today. Game Time. Jason Andera, Nate Weck. And it is a fine, fine program. Yeah, I was watching it last night online, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, two knowledgeable guys. It's always fun tuning in and hearing their thoughts and perspectives on all things around these parts.
Yeah, and you know, one of the big things was the 73-point night we had. Marvin Richard III from Pine Ridge, and
only to be one up by Bam Adebayo in the 83 in the NBA, Steve. No, that's fantastic by Marvin, and yeah, they had, you know, they couldn't quite get to that state tournament, so his illustrious high school career is going to be wrapped up, but heading down to both him and Carlo Blunt, heading down to University of South Dakota.
Yeah, USD's getting a couple of good players there, playing in that very, very tough Summit League, both for men's and women's basketball. Dvoracek bottled up over the head of Setzer, and it makes it to half court, and Van Beek cannot save it in time, over and back. So a break there with Wagner. They still have time, 2:03 left, but they've got to operate effectively and quickly. Scott back into the game to replace Stanford. Scott out there with 4 fouls, and she goes right to guard Ashlyn Copel.
Yeah, and they've held Copel to only 10 shot attempts on the night, 4 of 10, and forced her into 6 turnovers, and there's a big 3 by Hayden Knutson, her 3rd one of the game, and that's their 8th one total. Braxton Nedved stepped up, has hit 4. Hayden Knutson has hit 3. So they've really kind of hung around with those role players.
Yep, and a quick timeout called by Wagner, and they have 2 timeouts left. That was a good quick play by Wagner. Now, they're only down by 8, minute 54. They've got time. That was the shot they needed. Wagner, you know, capitalized on that over and back. They turned it into quick points, but Wagner, they're going to have to, like I said, they got to force some turnovers, and more importantly, they cannot allow offensive rebounds.
Yeah, and they're not a team that's built to really press a ton and pressure. As you can see, them just kind of dropping back into their normal half court. So generally, when you get put in these situations at 1:54 on the clock, down 8, you're going to probably extend your defense a little bit. As you can see them picking up a little more.
Let's see if they go for the trap. They do up top. Dvoracek in trouble, and a blocking foul on Wagner. They've got like 4 fouls to give. And that's going to be on Nedved. Nope, it's going to be on Knutson. That's her first. But only the team's 2nd foul. So they got 3 more to give before Sioux Falls Christian starts shooting free throws.
And they did try to speed the Chargers, as there's a nice find by Van Beek. They tried to speed them up in that possession 1 back where they were trapping that first pass.
Off of Wagner, out of bounds. Sioux Falls Christian plays, 29 on the shot clock. Dvoracek again. Nice cut to the basket and a good pass.
With that bucket, Ruth Dvoracek, the game's leading scorer at 18, and she's one that just constant action and movement, and with or without the basketball.
Copel, another 3. That one's good. And another quick timeout. That's her first 3 of the night. And the lead is down to 7. But is there enough time left with 1:17 left for Wagner?
The 3-point line is really what has allowed them to hang around in this. 10 of 27 from 3, whereas Sioux Falls Christian has only attempted basically half that, 14 of them, 3 of 14. It's just been back and forth between pounding the paint and then knocking 3s down on the other side.
You know, if memory serves me right, the 85-86 high school season was the first year they had the 3-pointer in South Dakota high school basketball, if I remember correctly, because I was already graduated. I was in college and calling some games out in the Black Hills area, and I remember they had just brought in the 3-point shot, and that has so changed the game, and it's hard to believe it's been 40 years since we've had the 3-pointer. And yes, I'm old enough to remember high school basketball when if you hit a shot from 25 feet, it still counted for 2 points.
As 2, yeah, yeah. The game has certainly evolved a lot in a number of ways, and yeah, there's been no bigger cause of that than installing the 3-point line.
And the shot clock coming in a few years back, also changing the game. And here's Van Beek into the front court. And we're going to have a quick foul, and that is going to be on Wagner. Still got a couple more fouls to give. That was on Nedved, and that's her 2nd.
Yeah, and they can be super aggressive right now. As you said, still have one more to give here now. And so be aggressive. Look to see if you can make a play on the bounce or a pass and create some offense for yourself.
Van Beek throws it to Dvoracek, and she scoops it to Setzer. He gets the finish. The interior passing has been stellar tonight for the Chargers. And here's the handoff to Copel, double teamed as she's been pretty much all night. High pass, open shooter, Nedved, 3, in and out. Setzer tips it once, twice, Van Beek ends up with it.
And Madriski actually had inside position right there, and Leslie Setzer just goes right over the top to deflect that basketball out.
Got a foul on Wagner. That was their last one to give. Nedved foul number 3. So the next foul puts the Chargers at the line, but with only 34.8 seconds left and a 9-point lead. And I figure Sioux Falls Christian has to make some free throws, and we're going to have a foul there. And I believe that's on Ashlyn Copel. And if so, and it is, her night is over. 15 points as she was just bedeviled all night long. 9 rebounds as well, 3 assists, and she gets a standing ovation from the fans here. And yes, Sioux Falls Christian fans applauding her as she played valiantly tonight.
And to see the stuff that she sees, and you can see the emotions, as I know how badly she wanted to advance on in this tournament. But when you constantly are seeing double and triple and sometimes quadruple teams, a lot of the times that can be super frustrating. And she's just a player that is just rock solid mentally out there and rarely shows it. And just a quality teammate to her bunch, and special athlete and special player.
You know, one of the best we've ever seen. Shot clock is off. And here's a 3 on the way. It's no good by Knutson. Setzer grabs the rebound. She'll be fouled by Nedved. And you know, the thing for Ashlyn Copel, as a freshman, she was on this court and they lost to Hamlin in a close game. Wagner had a chance, couldn't get a shot off in the final moments. And you know, last year they finished 7th place. As we got a whole bunch of subs coming to the scores table for both squads as Setzer connects on the free throw. And I know this was her last chance to maybe capture that elusive state title that as a freshman eluded her. And it is not meant to be this time around. She'll be playing in consolation play tomorrow as a host of reserves in for both squads with 14 seconds left. Sioux Falls Christian is going to advance. Setzer misses the free throw. She's got to stay on the court. And bringing up the ball for Wagner was Witchman. Gets it back. And they will not get a shot off on our final score. The Sioux Falls Christian wins 61-49. The Chargers move on to semifinal Friday night. It'll be a rematch of the championship game from a year ago. They will face Machpelah tomorrow in our second semifinal. We'll step away for a moment, come back with an interview with Coach DeYoung in a moment.
As much as you have accomplished, there are times you'd rather not go it alone. While you determine what direction you go, we're here to help along the way. So go. Go with community. Go with neighbors. Go with understanding. Go with support.
You hear about work-life balance like it's a big equation you have to find the answer to. But I think it's much simpler than that. So simple it was right in front of us. Start with the life you want, and everything else will follow.
Creating a legacy means different things to everyone. For us, it's about family, watching my daughter follow in my footsteps,
passing the farm onto her and working side by side every day. It's about building something that lasts. Agtegra Cooperative has been by our side through it all, supporting us from one generation to the next. Agtegra Cooperative, legacy rich, future focused for generations to come.
A 6 seed over the 3 seed. Sioux Falls Christian wins tonight, 61-49 over Wagner. Nate Kading standing by with the winning coach.
Coach, after 2.5 quarters of essentially a possession ball game, you guys were able to create a little separation in that third. Talk about really what you thought the difference was between the first and that second half.
Yeah, we really just started to put that ball down low. Les started to go work down low, and she was going strong to the basket, and it was just a tough matchup.
Yeah, no question. You talked about her. Lems, you had some others step up. Points in the paint, I think you had almost 35. I mean, how do you guys get that done, even when teams know what's going to happen?
Yeah, you know, the good thing is we can shoot the 3, and we've been shooting the 3 really good the last 4 or 5 games onto it. And I know next game, we might have to be able to do that a little bit more. And our different girls kind of step up different ways. Like you said, like Ruth and Emery just did a great job of attacking the hoop, and we wanted to be able to go at them. That was going to be our game plan from the start, and I thought our girls did a good job executing that.
No question, Coach. Well, congrats on the win. We'll see you tomorrow night.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Nate.
All right, thank you, Nate. Congratulations, Coach DeYoung. His team in the semifinals, and they will face a familiar foe in Machpelah-Luta. Let's check out some of the highlights here from the second half of play. Remember, we were tied at 23 at the break, but there is Leslie Setzer. The turnaround short jumper is good. Kopel drives, pulls up. Got one of her few field goals on the night. The three-pointer, that's what kept Wagner in the game throughout, but just relentless were the Chargers, just going inside. Look at the great form there by Setzer, keeping the ball over her head. Then the turnaround left-handed shot there, good by the Chargers. Hannah Holzbauer came off the bench and was key tonight for Wagner with 10 points. But there was a big outside 3, and then in the paint, back, forth, Van Beek and Dvoracek play catch there. And a big 3 from the corner. Dvoracek was huge with 18 points, 5 rebounds on the night. Holzbauer came in, again, 10 points off the bench. But it was just too much Lems, Dvoracek, and Setzer tonight for Sioux Falls Christian. So that one went in. And here's the quick drive, and several times tonight we saw that, Nate, with just a nice quick pass inside the interior and the quick cut.
Such an efficient offensive performance for the Chargers. Shot 47%, had 23 assists, only 12 turnovers, multiple athletes in double figures. It's really the recipe that you need to win a game like this at the state tournament.
Yeah, 34-8. That's how they dominated points in the paint. They also had 12 offensive rebounds compared to just 3 offensive rebounds for Wagner tonight. The paint belonged to Sioux Falls Christian.
Yeah, no question about it. And really, you look at those stats, they won the rebounding battle, the turnover, shooting splits were better from the floor overall. And really the only difference that allowed Wagner to kind of hang around when you hold your star player well under her season average was from the three-point land. And they certainly had a bunch of athletes step up in big moments and knock some shots down. Just kind of ran dry there as the second half wore on.
And that's how Sioux Falls Christian wins 61-49. We'll take a break. Come back with more from Watertown in a moment. This is SDPB.
You're committed to building relationships, to exceeding expectations, to serving your community. Your financial partner should share your vision and your values. For 130 years, we've stood by South Dakotans. We've been there, we'll be there. Convenient, connected, committed. Bank West, member FDIC.
Educators across South Dakota are coming together to elevate, educate, and empower. This June, the Department of Education hosts the South Dakota Literacy Conference in Mitchell, a gathering dedicated to advancing the science of reading and sharing new insights into how students learn, exploring research and real-world strategies for South Dakota educators to move literacy forward for all learners. South Dakota Department of Education, learning, leadership, service.
Our Peterson Farm seed reps, real-life seed heroes, well, they've been known to go the extra mile, literally thousands of extra miles every year. And when they're not driving gravel roads, they're out walking fields and sampling soil. When time is the enemy, they're there to save what's left of the day. Are all Peterson Farm seed reps seed heroes? I guess that's a yes. Peterson Farm Seed, we're that kind of seed company.
What does primary care mean to us? At Sanford Health, it means being there when and where you need it most. It means building a relationship, because when a provider really knows you, they can deliver the best care for every aspect of your health and your life. So what does primary care mean for you? It means understanding your health for today and for where you're headed next. It means a lifetime of care for a lifetime of you.
And welcome back to Watertown in the Civic Arena, our final game of the day. It was tied at halftime. Sioux Falls Christian pulls away in the second half to win 61-49 over Wagner. That caps a great day of action here in Watertown. We started off with a barn burner early on. Hamlin pulls away in the last minute to beat Lakota Tech 61-52. A stifling defensive performance by Lennox shuts down Sioux Valley 42-28. That was the afternoon session here in Watertown. Then Machpelah-Luda pulled away in the second half, beat West Central 65-42. That was a 7-point game at the halftime. And we are tied at halftime here, but Wagner, Sioux Falls Christian beats Wagner tonight by a score of 61-49. So that sets up a rematch with Machpelah-Luda against Sioux Falls Christian. That was a championship game last year. They'll play in the semifinals. And then it's Hamlin versus Lennox. Talk about teams that are familiar with each other.
Yeah, no question, Steve. We're going to get the third battle of this season with Lennox and Hamlin going. The first two only decided by a couple points. And then we got a rematch of last year's state championship game, which was one of the more thrilling games that of recent time and a special one. So let's hope for another recap of that here tomorrow night.
And we'll begin our consolation play at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's 11 a.m. Central Time, and then 5 o'clock Central Time for semifinal Friday night. It should be a dandy. For Nate Kading, I'm Steve Toom, and on behalf of our entire crew here in Watertown, we bid you good night from the Class A Girls Basketball Tournament. This has been a production of SDPB. Good night, everybody.